march with us.
Look how slow they're fucking going.
I don't know why they haven't used a beat band. What's going on, guys?
Is that actually a picture of the Antichrist crying? I like it. It's tasty.
Let's roll.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Brown chicken, brown cow. What's going on? It is 24 May 2018, broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. This is Sergeant's Time. And riding in the turret with me, I got my man Spurs.
What's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, so running a little tad bit behind because somebody said, "Ice, you gotta put this up. You gotta put this up." And so naturally, that's what happened. So I had to accommodate the fans and ensure that the WTF Nation was satisfied with all of the All-American Week festivities. I just want to throw a shout out to Lieutenant Colonel Joe Buccino, spokesperson, PAO, whatever you want to call him, the dude with the mic, who gave us several shout outs during their All-American Week events at the division review. I think it was awesome. It was, if you didn't see it, hey, you missed out. It was on the main page, on the radio page. And man, it was awesome. It was so awesome to see America doing America stuff with America's troops and you know, just blow. Oh, it was great. Oh, it was awesome. They even launched
Freedom hard on.
Dude, they launched freaking HIMARS, man. HIMARS. I haven't seen bottle rockets fired near people in a long time, dude. Aside from a deployment. You know what I mean? Holy crap. It was beautiful. It was huge. It was awesome. I guess they had 9 projected C-17s to do an airborne assault, and 2 of them got scratched. So there was at one point in time, there were multiple. I would say there was a brigade's worth, and then the division commander and the division sergeant major, everybody jumped out. See, everybody in the 82nd jumps. So it was badass. Oh, you want to see it again? Okay, hang on. All right, hang on. Let me do it. Go ahead.
Hey, make a march with us.
Look how slow they're fucking going.
I
So
don't
he
know
led
why
in
they
formations,
haven't
so
used a beat
that's good.
band.
That at least everybody, if he got hurt, anybody was there, they could have rendered aid as they needed.
What's going on, guys?
So I thought that was pretty badass. That was awesome. I loved it. Really, it was really good. I'm sorry, I just seeing shit like that just makes me So there were some comments in the Facebook Live going streams when I was monitoring all the channels and communicating with Colonel Buccino. And I was telling Joe, hey man, you know, you're doing good. This is this. Hey, just make sure this is, you know, it's kind of helping him out a little bit. Pretty good setup the way they had it. Outstanding. I don't ever remember the 82nd ever doing a live event broadcast like that, but hey, hats off to them. They did a pretty good job. What I didn't appreciate was the comments in there when people were saying, oh yeah, you know, look, we all look here at WTF Nation Radio. We break, and U.S. Army WTF Moments. We break balls on everybody. Everybody we break balls on. But at the end, we're not spiteful at all to our Army brethren. There's people trashing the 82nd for what they were doing. I was like, you kidding me? Delete. Yeah, but delete. Screw that, man. So I just like there's always, and it just seems like there's always, you always got that, like I keep bringing up before. You always have that one guy that's the life of parties. You know what I mean? He's a big fucking downer, or she's a big fucking downer. Why did you even fucking invite him? All they want to do is talk shit. So delete. There's some comments being thrown on there about, whatever, with the 82nd. Hey, look what they did. They just showed America. That was awesome. That was all. Come on, man. The best part about it, and it's not fucking Kool-Aid drinking. It's going over the events of happening. Well, how could you not be proud of American soldiers anyways? It was awesome. I loved it.
It looked good to me.
Yeah, well, the biggest point, and the thing that I tell you what that got me kind of, I don't know, I was starting to smell a hint of onions. So when they brought the veterans out, they brought the old veterans from the 82nd, previous wars that served in the 82nd Airborne Division, and they put them out front. They marched them first. I was like, what the? That was like awesome. All the veterans of the conflicts that were in the 82nd. Yeah, exactly. You're a move hunter first. I thought that was I thought that was nothing but, I mean, that was just class. I like anything that highlights our veterans, because that's what we're about. You know what I mean? Providing entertainment, news, discussion, and all that, and just a virtual team room of you guys just hanging out with us, because that's just us. Active duty, reserved, National Guard, veteran. That's what we're here for, right? So we're not here to just chop people up. Man, there are some guys in the freaking in the chat that I just like delete. They're just being douches. Delete. Dude, why can't you just like enjoy the moment? You see those old timers there that were in there watching the All American, the division review. You're gonna disrespect them like that? Why would you want to disrespect them like that? Leave them alone. Veterans of Excellence. That's right, Joe. Division of Excellence. Yeah, exactly. Even you see, WTF Godzilla loves All American Week. We got invited to come out. That's what I'm talking about. Lots of firsts. So yeah. So I mean, come on, dudes. Really don't throw some freaking hate. It's just like one of those things. It's no way, dude. There is nothing. There is no hate to be given. There's no hate to be placed upon our leaders in the U.S. Army, from the lowest private to the commanding general, doing the same thing together on the drop zone. You don't see nobody drive. Did you see the general getting driven around? I didn't see him. Did you see him? No, I saw the general exiting the aircraft.
I saw him getting flown around for a minute, but then he got tired of it and jumped out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's like, I'm out. Matter of fact, I'm out. I'm leading the way. Come on, guys. Shit, just don't I mean, because I'm pretty sure everyone else likes to, everyone else likes to do the same thing. We like to break balls and talk shit about each other just by talking and all that stuff. But when you have people like literally being, and I could tell, there's a difference between a simple jab and then something that is like, you just saw that, dude. You're just being a bitch. Do not delete. Sorry.
Yeah, there's the fun comments to kind of chide and poke and prod and have fun. Then there's the douche comments. You get over it real quick. It's like, stop.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can't highlight America, then don't put a comment in there. You always got to have that one person that likes to comment. What's up, Michael? How you doing, man? Just shut up. You'll be fine. Nobody cares.
I wonder if the 101st is gonna do something, or if anybody else is gonna do something, and then or if this is the prequel to the Trump parade.
No, man. Are you? Why'd you have to do that? This is Sergeant's time, bro.
Hey, Sergeant's time's got, we take our Sergeant's time and they, and put the old gloss on the buttons to make sure that we're parade dress ready and get out there. And
we are parade dress ready, standing by at the position of a tent pole. The whole point is that again, It's America. That's why I don't know. Dude, it was just like really awesome to see a current unit honoring their veterans, past and present, and then the kids jumping out because they're kids, they're all well except for the general. That was awesome. I could not have been just like any more proud to be in the Army, any more proud. I mean, it's just like oozing. I was just, and then of course they're all American division. Come on, oozing of America. Americanism, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I loved it. It was great. I was just shocked that they were launching HIMARS and firing arty off the drop zone. And you hear kids in the background screaming, going, yeah! I was like, that's what I was... they're military brats when they're screaming, laughing, enjoying and jumping up and down, watching rockets flying over and then like enjoying it. There's no crying here.
Well, you know what? Maybe things like this do help for future generations to... I mean, they're out there, they're seeing it, they're excited about it. Hopefully we get, those young, those few, those proud that want to go out there and actually, serve the country, since we're having such an issue right now with the recruiting.
Well, and that's the thing. There was actually some kids out there from, I guess, the Raleigh recruiting battalion and went out there to go check it out. See, that's what USAREC needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get... See, I was going to talk about something else, but that's a good segue to the next subject. That is what USAREC needs to do. Show the Army. You know what I mean? Don't bug the crap out of them. And you're right, Max. Some of them aren't even patriotic to enlist, but I guarantee it. If I was of average Joe, like I said, if I was Joe Blow civilian, seeing something like that, think about what you saw out there. You saw the amount. Look at the different career fields that were out there. Shut up. It's ours time. I got to talk about our Army stuff as well. But think about it. You had pilots. You even had the Air Force. Even the Air Force played. C-17s, Army doesn't fly them. The Air Force does. F-15 Eagle, Army doesn't fly them. F-15 does. Apaches, oh hell yeah, we fly them. There you go. What did you see those Razors? Did you see those NTVs and stuff? That's badass. Wish I had them shits when I was, back in the day. I had been a little bit nice, driving around a rickety old Humvee. But you saw everybody in action. You saw everybody doing their stuff. You saw the engineers blowing shit up. You saw the artillery kids out there. You saw Chinooks sling loading freaking howitzers and dropping them, and they were firing it there in front of the kids. And then they threw out the mass. They had their vape machines rolling out there.
Well, you got to give Chem something to do.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't, other than USR. So then they had their vape machines out there vaping up the the drop zone, and then the smoke cleared, and you see two HIMARS vehicles sitting there. And I'm looking at this going, there's no way they're going to launch HIMARS from the drop zone. Oh yeah, they launched them. They launched. They're literally throwing America. They're throwing freedom downrange with American families and potential recruits. That's how you get them.
I wonder what that safety brief looked like.
I was about to say that risk assessment must have been huge. You know what I mean? That risk assessment must have been like, okay, we're doing this. Okay, what are the hazards? We have kids running around the drop zone. Yeah, exactly. Vape detail. Exhale. Yeah, it's just funny, man. It's just you don't think about it, and you don't, and that's what USAREC should be focusing on. Not working the dog piss out of those freaking soldiers, man, that they got in the recruit. Oh man, we can't. We have if we were to actually to put out USAREC content from the main page, it would be USAREC WTF moments with a sprinkle of Army. And then it would be like for a consistent 45 days straight of USAREC content, and then maybe some Army stuff. And then it'd be another 90 days. I mean, we get so much USAREC crap in there. We actually have to space it out. So I'm like, man, I just think it's crazy that the amount of work. Yeah, Max, it's done every year. It's done the week before Memorial Day, and it is a showcase of the. It's almost like the unit that's about ready to change over, I guess, for their ready cycle. That's when they go blow their wad and go do whatever. I don't know the deal about the 82nd, how they do that, but I will say this. It is impressive to see all that. I just say it. I just freaking I liked it. Oh, can't wait to cover it next year. So again, shout out to Colonel Bacino for shouting us out. Yeah, we didn't do anything. You're the one that came on the show. You're the one that came on air to talk to us. So I think it was a classy event. It was, like I said, the thing that struck me the most was the vets that were showcased as well. Former 82nd Airborne vets. They also had some of the sergeant. I mean, if you guys didn't know, the 82nd was involved in the Dominican Republic. I mean, just a lot of stuff that you didn't know about history. It was pretty laid out. Well done. Hats off.
So are you wanting to broadcast on site next year?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to do it. Looking at what they had set up I'm pretty sure if they could do, you know what I mean. If they had the means and methods to broadcast like that, I'm sure we can too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that they were able to broadcast from the drop zone. Hey man, kids exactly pook out. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, because Baby Ice is on a leash sometimes. Yeah, they had kids on leashes. That's how the Airborne takes care of their kids. They dummy cord their kids. Sorry, I had to do that jab at least. I'm like, come on, man, kids are freaking running wild and shit. You want to make sure your kids are secured while all those explosions and detonations and vehicles are rolling around. Like we were saying earlier, Spurs, about that risk assessment. So, yep. So I can't even imagine. Yeah. So I think the logistics will be doable. I think when we go out to Fort Bragg and check it out to see how we can do it. That's if the invite still happens, because I don't know. I'm still waiting for the other shooter drop. This is like Twilight Zone shit,
Ooh.
man. You know what I mean? This is like Twilight Zone shit.
Invite rescinded.
Yeah, exactly. This is like no unit has, and I get it. I mean, we have a reciprocal relationship, I guess you would say, a symbiotic relationship, parasite on host relationship. I don't know what you want to call it. Friends with benefits relationship. I don't know what you want to call it, but Joe said that he wanted. Joe Bacino said that this is where the paratroopers are at. This is where the soldiers are at. Smart thinking. That was good messaging. And then for us, look what it did with us. Right now, as we speak, if you're on Twitter, the 82nd is picking a fight with the other divisions right now, saying that they were the first, which they were, the first ever to come on to WTF Nation Radio or be broadcasted with like legit, no drama on U.S. Army WTF moments. And they're, dude, I don't know what. I mean, they're holding their head up pretty high for that. I mean, the Twitter fights are unbelievable going on right now between the 101st, the 82nd, 3rd Infantry Division. And they're all talking about who's going to come on and who's this. And we've been, hey, I'm going to have to tell the other divisions, all 9 other of yous, you had your chance. You could have come on.
10th Mountain's still up in the hills.
Yeah, I don't even know if I even want to, Oh man, but I just think it's awesome. I totally think it's awesome. Like right. Let me quote this Twitter thing here. It's from the 82nd. It says, when you want to go airborne and your recruiter tells you that the 101st is basically the same thing, hashtag don't sign the contract. Oh man, it's lost. I've never seen. Oh my God, it is just going back and forth. I love it. I mean, look, people are showing me the screens and stuff, and Jose is even jumping in and instigating. Jose, he's gonna go in there and mess around with everybody, and of course, Third ID, jumps in there and. Everyone's talking about what's going on with this. Exactly. Interdivision Twitter. Division on division crime. Brought to you live by WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. Oh, yeah. You know what? We should be like Don King Productions. We should be. And then of course 3ID throws their they throw freaking a tank doing freaking donuts and drifting. I love it. This is awesome. Iron Fist of the 18th Airborne Corps. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Everyone's like just dropping. I love it. 3rd Brigade, 82nd. This is awesome. So if you go on to the 82nd Airborne's Twitter page, hey, check them out. You're probably going to see the Twitter fight, the cripple fight of all crippleness between the divisions of Airborne said Air Assault back in the day, Airborne 3rd ID. I'm waiting for 10 Mountain, dude. 10 Mountain's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, they're afraid. They're
Do
afraid.
you think they're afraid of getting involved? I don't know, because I think what they're waiting to do is to see if the PAO from the 82nd got fired yet. If he still has a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, at least they're balls enough to come on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know, that's bragging rights right there.
No pun intended, of course, but yeah, you're right. It is some serious bragging rights when you. For us too, dude. I felt like it was freaking. I'm telling you, I'm waiting for the other shooter drop.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm waiting for a knock on my door. Are you ice? While I'm broadcasting right now, I hear a drone flying over. all those radio calls that I heard over the air. Yeah, those guys are here. Yep. There's ice.
You're not gonna. They're so intrigued at who you are. It's probably onto the nanobots now. They're listening in. They know who you are.
Well, no, we'll see. Congrats again for a successful All-American Week. Yeah, it's done every year. Like I said, if you paid attention back to the 82nd Airborne last week on Sergeant's Time, they came on the air to talk about All-American Week, and Colonel Bacino came on here and to discuss all the ins and outs. So if you want to catch that on a podcast and grab that or you can grab that from the Facebook page, you can. Doesn't matter, but you can really, you could see all that and listen into it. Go into the second hour. Everybody knows that usually we do our high point or guests at the second hour, or if like tonight, it's not really a guest we're gonna have, so we're just gonna shoot the breeze. For all that, doesn't really matter. But anyway, so let's go on to the news. All right, so we all know what happened today, right? Do you think it's kind of crazy that now I'm gonna get on some of these how do I say this? Conspiracy theories? Do I want to get in conspiracy theories?
Let's get into it.
No, not really. But so in case you hadn't know it, that about 7 hours ago, earlier today, D. Treasy, the Perez, said that the summit, I've decided to terminate, quote, the planned summit in Singapore. And while many things can happen and a great opportunity lies ahead, potentially, I believe that this is a tremendous setback for North Korea, and indeed a setback for the world. Yeah.
I kind of expected this to happen. I didn't actually see it going all the way through. But
did you really think that was going to happen at all?
No, I didn't actually think it was going to happen.
Well, I thought that there was a percentage of it happening. And here's why I say that. Everything leading up until this tweet today. Yeah, that is a good question. Where is the feed from fucking the 82nd today? Yeah, I just noticed that. Yeah, that's a good question. Where is it at? Whoa. No way. Huh.
What are we looking for?
No, it just the feed from
Twitter feed?
Yeah, no. The I'm looking for the the feed. Today's All American Week. Did it disappear from the 82nd's timeline too? It's gone.
Facebook probably violated their standards because of the music. They couldn't post it.
You know, right? The guns. The guns and
Oh.
explosions and shit.
Violated the terms of Facebook.
If you violate, you have been violated. Ow. You know what? That's right. That's right.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so crazy. It's not in the freaking. Yeah. Dude, it's off their Facebook page. They don't have it on there. Wow, man, what's going on? Well, check them out, 82nd Airborne Division on Facebook. At 82nd Airborne Division. And you can see some pictures. Dude, where did the video feeds go? They took their feed off.
Do they have their own actual website?
No, they use the standard army.mil installation ones, you know what I mean? But they have a Facebook page and they have a Twitter. Obviously the Facebook page has a lot more stuff in it. There's no but yeah, something happened to their feed. It's gone. I'm willing to bet you Facebook probably took it down. One or two things can happen. They probably saw something that was probably an OPSEC violation, or they probably saw something that was a that I don't know, something happened. I'm willing to bet you guns and explosions and all this other crap. I bet you Facebook took it down. I wonder. I'm curious. Now I'm going to ask them, hey, what happened, dudes? What happened to your shit? It's fucking deleted. Anyways, the timing of it and all that stuff, you think it being on air and being, because you know they had over almost 1.5 thousand viewers on All American Week on that division review, on that airborne assault on the drop zone. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, that's a good point.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those were outside of the country checking out our military.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But I mean that's just the 82nd. That's what's mind-boggling to a lot of the rest of the world. It's like, oh, I mean that's the U.S. Army. No, that's just one division.
That's just exactly. You bring a good point, sir. That is just one division. One
of the Army.
Of the Army.
Of the. Because now there's still Air Force, Marines, Navy.
And not only not only are you seeing the division's I guess you would say capability, but you're also seeing a freaking what'd you use it? That was just a brigade. That wasn't the entire division. Even your dog's getting worked up about it.
Yep. he was getting excited.
He's like, oh, 82nd Airborne, raw, raw. That's unreal, dude. Yeah, I just blows me away that I just realized that. I was like, yeah, let me check out this video. I was gonna pull a video down. God, that's crazy. I should have downloaded it from Facebook earlier. I should have taken it from Facebook earlier. But, well, I guess, okay. Well, that kind of, like, blasted my freaking... Well, anyways, do you think that was a good show of force today to show North Korea after we, can we connect the dots to that? That all of the division review, it was not coincidental. The division review was going to happen today. But it was so easily accessible when it was announced. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like everybody knows, every time, believe it or not, we do have people from different countries listening in or watching or following, U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. So I'm just wondering if you think it got to the pond. You think it got across the pond?
Oh, I know it did.
You just like, oh, Rook, and then the next thing you know, priest, look at the 82nd. So your dog.
Damn it! I can't. Our miso not reach down there.
Dumb. Yeah, dude. No, I'm just wondering. It's just kind of one of those things where it's just like, yeah. Anyways, yeah, okay. So, so we're pulled out of North Korea. Now, we were breaking balls on North Korea. Or North Korea. We were breaking balls on 2ID in Korea about their ridiculous bed checks that they were having.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw ramping up. Do you think them ramping up their curfews more and more and more could have connected to the alert status now? What's going on after? I mean, I kind of feel bad putting a 2ID on. No, I don't feel bad. But there could be a connection. That's the reason why they were so restrictive on the curfew.
On the Memorial Day weekend
On the
and
Memorial
everything else, because the White House, and that's what I love about Trump. He does, and he's known to put out things that he's not supposed to, but no, he's actually pretty good about keeping the OPSEC. This is what's going to happen, within the military, but then not telling the civilian world. And then this happens, and they're already prepared for it. He's not telegraphing like Obama used to do. We're gonna come in there with these people. He's not telling the enemy what we're doing anymore. And so, yeah, I think that 2ID probably was locked up. Hey, button up those hatches. This is gonna go down. There might be retaliation.
Yeah.
So
in a way, but the way they were doing it is that then you restrict. You don't put a curfew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, put a curfew out and all. And as soon as the president would, in other words, have your because what they were doing is there were people that were buying tickets to fly home or go on passes and do also the shit. They should have just restricted it, unless you've already had an approved leave form and you got a ticket. You can show us an itinerary, then see ya. You know what I mean? You're gone. You can go on leave. Or if you're still in country, no, you're restricted and you're not on leave because ready to fight tonight and all sort of shit.
Right.
So, it could, like I said, it's getting hot. It's getting hot there now. Now the rhetoric going back and forth, and now everyone's making a big deal about the president pulling out of the talks. This is not uncommon for our president to pull out of talks or had just said fuck it, I'm out of here. Ronald Reagan did the same thing with Gorbachev. See, the best part about this, I can actually say this because you young kids don't know this stuff, but back in the 80s when I was growing up, because I was alive when this happened, and it was reported on the news back in the day, Ronald Reagan did the same thing with Gorbachev.
Mm-hmm.
And people lost their shit. And people actually thought that there was going to be a nuclear war happening like the next day. Like everyone was going ape shit, buying canned goods and digging fucking holes in their backyards so that way they could put a bomb shelter in it. And I'm just like, okay, so he pulled out. Now everyone's criticizing him about everything. Guy can't do anything right.
Well, half these people, 90% of these people that criticize him, they're not actually negotiators. They don't know how to negotiate. Hell, they probably can't even buy their first car from their parents because they can't negotiate.
Well, yeah, I mean, their expertise in foreign policy from a 16-year-old is so awesome, just like the constitutionalists from the Parkland school shooting. You know what I mean? So they all know.
Right. If you're gonna go out there and you're gonna criticize him for his negotiation skills, maybe he's actually being smart about this. Hey, I realized what you said, and I don't think it's a good idea that we meet. Now, the pressure is on little Kim to go, whoa, I meant that. We and to get rid of his nuclear weapons. Because if he's not actually meaning to get rid of it.
Exactly. He's gone, holy shit. He might have, and again, we have not, I don't know, they have seemed to have more direct communications that I've seen than through proxies. Does that, what I mean? Does that make sense? All the other government negotiations that we've seen has always been through the State Department spokesman or the Secretary of State, whatever you go ahead and blame whatever administration you want to hit, name that Secretary of State, and you've always heard it through them. You've always heard it through them or by proxies from the State Department and their spokesmen or women to be discussing what the status of negotiations are at, and it just seems like it's just long and drawn out. Doesn't seem like anything's happening.
I think it's a good thing. We're either gonna force little Kimmy to do something, to actually give up something, or make him look even worse. We did point out, thanks for giving our people back.
Yeah,
and that was a kind gesture. But
it was a step.
it's
yeah,
not just about those 3 people. And,
exactly.
Don't
exactly.
forget about the one you killed last time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it was. It was everyone got mad because he thanked them for their, and that is part of diplomacy. You got to remember, everyone's losing their shit about him thanking them on the release of those hostages, when the former Secretary of States of previous administrations pretty much went down and kissed their asses. And I couldn't even imagine. I love that. I know Kaz remembers that too. Before Ronald Reagan was going to come on the air to discuss about this stuff, he went on the air and he was hot micing, and he says, "My fellow Americans, I'm pleased to tell you today that I've signed legislation that will outlaw Russia forever. We begin bombing in 5 minutes." That's what Ronald Reagan said. Ronald Reagan said that August 11th, 1984, and it made people lose their shit. He was just breaking balls and joking. Think about if President Trump said that right now. "My fellow Americans, I'm pleased to tell you today," these silent, George, W would have probably just had it fed to him. "My fellow Americans, I'm pleased to tell you today that who's ISIS? We're gonna go get ISIS again. I think is it Al Qaeda or ISIS?"
Al Qaeda.
It's Al Qaeda's. You get them Al Qaeda's. We're gonna kill some terrorists. But and Reagan was like, "Yeah, exactly that caused a major shitstorm." When he said that, Strategic Command, or they called it SAC, Strategic Air Command, got their fucking bombers ready. I remember growing up seeing bombers flying over my house, just like getting ready, like they're getting the word that we're gonna go do some shit. Because I lived near a military base, several military bases, growing up, and you would see it. You would hear as soon as he said that, fighters, bombers flying over your head. And you're like, damn, was he serious? I'm serious. I'd have bombed Russia already. Sorry, I love W's freaking. His sayings are freaking hilarious. So I still, but no, I mean, so him saying that everyone's losing their shit because he's pulling out of the North Korea. Hey, look, I don't know what's going on. I don't know the dealings and the maybe they have ice cream tacos. Hey, Katie, have you heard from your brother again? By the way, we were told that we got to keep up with this your brother. And if not, then we're gonna call his drill sergeant to make sure that we got to make sure he's in contact, because you're I remember you're saying that your mom was freaking worried about this. We want to make sure that your brother, the private, is being taken care of right now. Choco's Tacos. We want to make sure your brother's good to go. So just give us make sure, just throw a message in there in the Facebook live chat. Okay, good. All right, just want to make sure. You got to take care of mama. So. So think about it right now. So think about it right now, drill sergeants. We have drill sergeants that listen to us. We know it. So check this out, drill sergeants. And they're listening. Think about it, drill sergeant. Right now, you got a private that we're following. He was allowed to call home again and even got pictures? What the hell?
Whoa.
What is this basic training going to? But think about it. There's a drill sergeant right now listening and saying, one of my privates has a family member in the Facebook live chat at WTF Nation Radio on US Army WTF Moments, and they're going to call me. Could you imagine, like, listening right now? If I just pick up the phone right now and just started dialing, a drill sergeant's probably going, or a sergeant major, or a basic training post commander. They're all freaking out. Hi, it's ass. Love it. All right, good shit, Katie. Well, keep us posted, because I know that was your concern last time. They would really freak the fuck out, though, wouldn't it? We've called units before, and they've been pretty friendly. So, hang on.
Godzilla.
Exactly.
I'll eat a few Taco Bells, take a massive radioactive shit on North Korea. Much improved.
Exactly. There's a photographer that's in touch with some FRG chick. Wait a minute. Basic privates have FRG chicks now. Yeah, exactly. Hey, look, drill sergeants, smoke all your privates right now. Because right now, I feel like calling a basic training. And no, I won't do that. Katie said that we're good to go. I would never unleash the destructive power of the station. Single reactor ignition, of course. But you're right, Joe. There's probably some privates getting smoked of excellence. No, anyways. So going back to what I was saying. It was not uncommon. It was not a big deal for Reagan to do that. Reagan was quite... he looked at the deal and said, I'm not doing this. I'm not signing this crap. Why the hell do I want to sign this? Could you imagine? Because you know how he talked. Well, kiss my ass. And that was it. So...
Yeah, I'm really curious to see, because a lot of people didn't like Reagan before he became president. And even while he was president, assassination attempts and things like that. So I'm curious to see the aftermath of Trump and what people think about him in, say, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now.
Well, the thing that scared him off, the thing that scared that got everybody all up in a tizzy, is because everyone keeps saying, and here's what pisses me off when people don't use proper nomenclature, or I would say use the wrong phraseology in negotiations and diplomacy, is they said that we will do the same thing as we did in Libya. What happened in Libya? They turned in all their weapons of mass destruction, and they turned them into some... No shit, they put them on a fucking plane, and they flew it out and landed somewhere in the middle of Alabama or Tennessee or some rocket plane. Anywhere, or Mississippi. I don't remember. But anyways, they flew them out. Then the Arab Spring happened. And then when the Arab Spring happened and the rebels started fucking around and started sweeping through and disposing all these governments, guess what happened? Muammar Gaddafi was like, yeah, you turn this in, we'll hook you up, we'll make you part of the team, and also the shit. Condoleezza Rice, if you want to go visit him. And what happened? He was asking for our fucking help. Well, it seems like everybody who was in Libya, to include Benghazi, was asking for help. And we all know who the Secretary of State was then. We came, we saw, and he died. Quote Hillary Clinton when she said that. So when
Hillary.
So when he hears that, he thinks these motherfuckers are gonna kill me. He just said, because I'm pretty sure, because we know you guys know that WTF Nation Radio spans the globe. Spans the globe. Last night we were getting some people from Thailand. Well, not last night. Night before last. And I was like, man, we got people from Thailand. So if you think about it, if there's in the Asian Pacific area and they're listening to WTF Nation Radio, I mean, I'm not going to be careful what I fucking say. I don't give a shit because this is freedom of speech and live from America. But the whole thing is that think about his situation right now. Oh, we're going to do it just like Libya. Look what happened. Look what happened to Libya.
Mm-hmm.
Gaddafi got killed on camera. He got fucked up. He was assured that he would be protected and all those other securities. So he gets told on the news, oh yeah, he'll be assured security and blah, 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 and all this other shit. The next thing you know, oh, we're going to do this like Libya. You're going to fucking kill me is what you're going to fucking do. That's what he was, I'm saying? I'm just translating on the word speak of using, kind of association, and he's comparing some shit. And I'm like, yeah. If anyone else is freaking sitting there trying to think about doing some shit with us, what will end up happening is they'll end up getting fucking their asses spanked. So what would you do if you were fucking seeing some shit like that, and then you were starting to up the rhetoric? What's up, Kyrie? Interesting name. What is that from? What is the origin of Kyrie? Yeah, indeed. Do it again.
Okay.
Yeah. Smashing.
Third series. Fourth, Little Kimmy.
Yeah. First Saddam, then Gaddafi, and then Syria. Yeah, exactly. Well, we haven't done anything with Syria yet. You got to remember Syria has, dude, that fucking place is so complex. Get the fuck out. There's some, there, you know, did you see that that there's a new Infinity War movie coming out? It's called Afghanistan.
Here, hang on. I want to try something. Dang it, didn't work.
Didn't work. Yeah. Too soon? Too soon?
Tried to snap them.
Yeah, try to snap. Afghanistan didn't go away. We shouldn't go there. Damn.
Oh, was that a spoiler?
No, spoiler alert. Afghanistan's still there. Who cares? It's time to get the fuck out. Done.
So here's a solution. Okay, this is going to be kind of an odd solution. We know how to directional drill now, right? Why don't we just go off into one of the oceans or the seas that are close to there, drill up underneath them, just keep drilling, poking holes, and maybe it'll become a giant sinkhole and just fall into the earth. We don't need them.
I'll be honest with you, really, we don't. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard when you start when you start weaving this web of shit that ends up you're placing our soldiers back in harm's way for what at this time? For what? Because literally at this point, being as long as I've been in, and don't get me wrong, I like going out and kicking ass. I like shooting the enemy. Blah 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 blah. That's the whole reason why you're in the military, anyways, is to train up and then go get ready to get some, right? So why would you go? What is the end effect here? What are we trying to do now? I mean, what was the original mission? Was to go and fuck up the Taliban and depose all the foreign fighters that were what? Or kill them. Actually, we're killing them, the guys that we thought were responsible for 9/11. And Osama bin Laden was there too, right? So, of course, that was a mission. That was a mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's too difficult. There goes the mission. Mission was there. Mission was done. We did it. Osama's dead. Everyone just up and leave. The fuck out. Because now
the dirt's not that important.
No, exactly. Well, some of it's important, but we could, we got proxies that could fucking help us out. Exactly, Pookie. Got to support that opioid. You got to support that opioid stuff. You ever notice it came in waves. During Vietnam, there was a lot of heavy fucking heroin use, and we had a lot of issues with veterans and also using opium and using, fucking heroin. Heroin wasn't a big deal. Then Afghanistan kicked up, and what happened? Holy shit, that's all you hear about. The opioid crisis. Motherfucker, we did it. Welcome. First time, Juan Ramirez. Ándale pues. Bienvenidos. En este canal. Thank you for joining. I'm glad that you have joined us here at Sergeant's Time. We got a show every night. Man, Katie, yeah, you're right. Talk about throwback. They're like, throw your Kyrie. So, how is Jose's taco truck coming up in the? Yeah, hang in there. Shit's about ready to happen with the taco truck. Don't worry about it. Right? So once it comes out of maintenance, the keys are going to be sitting in the motor pool, and we'll just have to see who signs it out. Right, Spurs?
Right.
You never know. So we'll see about that.
Is Supply issuing pens? Because I need a pen.
Oh, come on, man. We know we have the super headquarters of everything. Somebody told us today that it was said to the formation, and we got this information from our from our nation in Korea. Said that U.S. Army WTF moments and WTF Nation Radio. If a command asks us to give up a name of anybody we provided information to, or meme, or video, or pic, that we would do it because we get paid and we don't care about the soldiers. That's what was told. Like, no shit. Super headquarters of excellence. That's right. They're being told, those soldiers are being told that U.S. Army WTF moments, WTF, we're making fat cash Like I'm just drowning in negative millions right now. I mean making it rain negative. No, we're not getting paid. And no, we have a policy of strict anonymity. You cannot commit. Once you send something to the inbox, it's considered treasure. It's an infinity stone. We don't give it up.
Making that Facebook money. That's right, Katie.
Exactly. Katie's like, yep, making all that Facebook money. Hey, welcome to Divination Radio. Welcome to it's Ice and Spurs.
Man, I'm rolling in it too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's saying the same thing. We get paid. Fuck.
Is this an annual check?
I'm about to say, dude.
Check comes every decade.
Yeah, exactly.
Thrift savings plan. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's the WTF savings plan. So yeah, so when this was told to us by somebody who was being told by command. So their company commander said, "Hey, yeah, you don't worry. Go ahead, say something to WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. They'll give us some names. They're not your friend," type shit.
Nope. Where's my W-2?
Yeah, exactly. I want my W-2.
Thanks.
But that's crazy. That is crazy. That's crazy. I just my biggest thing is that we don't. Holy crap. You know what would happen if we, God, we've been offered lots of money to sell the station and sell the page. Like the bosses at B they've been propositioned. Pound me too. So, anyways, we're going to take a quick break and then shots. We'll be right back. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
within it all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked. If you bleed, you won't feel it, you won't see me at all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked. If you bleed, you won't feel it, you won't see me at all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Good evening, boys and girls. This is Tim Kennedy. I'm a Special Forces sniper, a Ranger qualified Green Beret, a UFC fighter. Please listen to us and the shenanigans that we're going to say. We will insult you. There will be racial slurs. We will be sexist. We will offend you. But there will be magic, and a unicorn will be raped. So enjoy the show. Thank you for listening on WTF Nation Radio.
And we're back. All right, come on, the second hour. Hey, real quick, I gotta put out an announcement. about some stuff that's happening this weekend. As you guys know already, that this is the Memorial Day weekend, and what we do, we trying to establish a tradition. Well, we do have a tradition. If you guys want to call during Memorial Day, there will be a show on Memorial Day. It'll be me and Flash, and you want to throw a shout out to somebody that you know that has been that's a fallen soldier or a fallen family member. Throw in the Facebook live chat or give us a call and tell us who you want to give a shout out to until Valhalla to rest in peace to, and we'll do it. I mean, that there's no qualms about that. We have no issues with that. It's Memorial Day. Exactly what it is. It's Memorial Day. It's a day of remembrance. So that's the kind of the key thing that we key on. There's some individuals that I know who are Gold Star family members who are or who have had a friend of theirs lost in combat, or any of the actions that have happened due to whatever disease or something that happened to them, and then obviously their health deteriorated because of their combat service. Then I want to make sure that we highlight them and remember them, because nobody wants to be forgotten ever. So again, Memorial Day there will be a show. We will be talking. It'll be just a normal show. Well, not really. I would say not normal, but it'll be discussing Memorial Day events and all this other stuff, and we'll see what we can cook up for Monday. But again, I don't want nobody to think that there's not going to be a show Memorial Day. There will be a show Memorial Day. So if there's a reason you need to come on and you want to talk about somebody that you remember that you've deployed with or hang out, you go ahead, give us a call and give us your memory, because like I said, nobody wants to be forgotten, and nor should anybody that you've lost, a family member, should ever be forgotten. So that's what's happening on Monday. So just real quick, I don't think there's going to be a guest, but because you never know, you might have a guest or not. But I don't want nobody to think that you can't come on or you can't talk, or it's just going to be the same old thing. No. Memorial Day is different. So again, so that's it. Anyways, so today, which really kind of was, I guess you would say it was a little bit of it wasn't really thrown out there. I don't know why. No one can say why it really wasn't thrown out there. It was thrown into a couple of news bits. Maybe Fox News had something of it. Maybe it just didn't seem like it was very highlighted. So today, there was a Medal of Honor that was awarded to a retired Master Chief, Britt Selinsky. That happened today. Obviously, All American Week was capturing most of the airtime for us, but what I noticed is in the news there was nobody talking about it. Nobody said anything. This happened 16 years ago. The event to which the award was given. It was what they called the Battle of Roberts Ridge, and it was an event to where there was some. It was during the mission of Anaconda. So real quick, some of the president covered some of the stories of what happened, and it said that Britt and his teammates were preparing to exit the aircraft on a mountain peak when their helicopter was struck by machine gun fire like they'd never seen before, and a rocket-propelled grenade from Al-Qaeda terrorists down below. The aircraft then lurched away from the assault, and one of members of Slabinsky's team, Neil Roberts, was thrown from the aircraft before the helicopter with the rest of the team crashed into the mountain below. So, I mean, just seeing something like that, I can just even imagine. So the team faced a choice. It was to wait for reinforcements to some safety or return to the enemy stronghold in the hope of saving Neil's life. And they were outmanned, outgunned, and fighting uphill on a steep, icy mountaintop. And they would face freezing temperatures and bitter winds at the highest altitude in a battle in the history of American military. And so they made the decision. For them was an easy one. They went back to the mountain when their helicopter reached the peak, and they jumped out and then went into machine gun fire. So a lot of the stuff that's happened on this. There was some. Everyone's saying there's some controversy in it, but I don't see it. Maybe it's because the way someone likes to armchair quarterback some of the stuff. There was an Air Force tech sergeant, John Chapman, charged up the hill with him, and then they were discussing about what was happening during the battle of what the chief did, and then the actions of what John Chapman. So obviously there's been a Medal of Honor going to be awarded for him too. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, like I said, he's retired, so he didn't say anything. He was quiet. He was just he just said, and the president conveyed that he even said that he didn't say anything. Trump relayed his words in awarding the Medal of Honor was an individual award for himself, but a recognition of what they did for jointly as a team for the Battle of Roberts Ridge. So that really didn't that didn't happen in the news. The reason why there was freaking drama, and I asked about your name, Kyrie. I was wondering. I don't think I've ever seen your name before, so I was just asking. But, anyways, yeah, there was the I don't want to say it's controversy, but there's some deconflicting reports that the Master Chief left the Air Force guy on the mountain, and that I don't even want to go into that back and forth because that's just all right now. That's just conjecture, and that's just all hearsay of what happened with that. So that was awarded today. So hey, congratulations, Master Chief, and that's really all you can do is don't be hating on anybody, because of course that's where the rumors were going crazy about what happened and who was doing what. So yeah, real quick, there's not enough I could say about you guys supporting WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF. Now I'm being serious about breaking balls about the getting paid and all this shit. If you look on WTFNationRadio.com, we have a donate button. That's exactly what it is. It is donated. So all the systems that you have that you get to hear us on, all the platforms that you get to hear us on, is for that. It is to have that type of system up so that way you can hear us on whatever platform you want. And that's what it's for. So we break balls about the donating, but we also donate our time. Now we are shuffling things around, and we need people. Now before anybody gets in a tizzy and starts freaking the fuck out or whatever, this is not easy work. This is hard. I wouldn't say it's not hard. It's just it's complex. It could be hard, and sometimes it's fun. It's almost like it's like being in the military. There's some times where the shit's, you're like, oh my god, I'm busting my ass on this stuff, and there's some times where it's, holy shit, this is so rewarding. I love it. But in the outcome, after I shut everything down, and that by the end of each broadcast, I feel great that I provided you guys, some quality entertainment. All of our hosts are the same way. So if you apply, you have to think about a couple things. A couple things need to go when you apply. Only because I sit on the board of, I guess you would say, people who get to hire you on, and it's not like a military promotion board. We don't like have you come in and talk and all that stuff. That's not how it works. But we have to see if you what have you got the gift for gab? Can you carry on a conversation? Can you what is the inflection of your voice? How do you speak? What are your nonverbals? What are your mannerisms? You know, we just kind of things that run through our head. That's if you want to be on air. And there's some self-initiative stuff that you have to do as well. You have to obviously learn how to broadcast on your own. You have to understand the equipment and understand the stuff that you could be, that you could or could not be provided. You might have to provide yourself to operate. It's not like we're not doing this on our phones, unless you're the whiz like Pookie. Pookie can. I don't know how he does it. I say, hey, just laugh at this, and we do stuff. I do stuff that takes a freaking high-powered laptop, a MacBook Pro, and a tower, and Pookie could do it with 2 phones. I don't know how he does it. So my point being is that he is, yes, exactly. It's tedious, but the thing is that you have to be committed to it. There's no, I think I'm gonna try it out and all this other stuff once you're locked into a schedule, because you guys, the WTF Nation, expect a quality product. You guys expect to come on, listen to us, hear us bullshit and talk about whatever events we have, and that's it. Now that's just on the broadcast side. You're not even considering the infrastructure behind the scenes. And I will tell you what, our front desk and our social media guys bust ass behind the scenes. Some of it is again, it's initiative based. If it's not us blabbing on air talking about getting people to come on, it is the social media team and our front desk, our admin people. They are the ones that are really busting ass and all that, and they're putting up with my ass because I am the station manager. A lot of you guys didn't know. So if there's any issues, it's like running another company again. Like I'm a battalion sergeant major. That's what I'm talking about. Being with the troops, we got troops, but we all have our own hierarchy. We all have our own responsibilities. Red Leg expects all that stuff to happen. So on top of that, we also have to discuss, who is going to be able to come on, and what role do they have, and what talents that they have. And it's not. There's nothing exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. You guys expect it. We can half-ass it if you want. I don't think you guys would appreciate that. So before you click on that, hey, join our team, you really have to think in the background, okay, this is going to be some commitment. I gotta bring in some. What can I bring to the table? Yeah, exactly. Now, I don't pull rank. Knock it off, Katie. I never. Are you kidding? Oh man, everyone picks on my age and shit. Everyone call me the old man, Grandpa Ice. Did you see all those hashtags? It's the social media team. I don't do all that crap. The social media team breaks my balls about my age. Because I'm old enough to be everybody's, freaking grandfather here. No, so think about that. And right now we're really looking for an admin assistant. The hardest job I could. Oh my God. If the front desk ladies were to hear me, well, and dude, I tell you that I don't want to speak. I don't want to have like. I'm looking at the chats right now because I'm waiting. They're probably like hovering over them. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, what are you gonna say, Ice? You gonna talk about the front desk?" No. So the admin section knows what I'm talking about. It's hard work. It's hard. There are systems in place that you have to keep. So you have to think about it. And a lot of the stuff you have to, when you fill out the application, fill it out. Fill it out. Don't. Maybe. Maybe you, because, hire me. Fill it out. Put your name in there. Fill out what talent. If you got a degree in something, or you got something that you could bring to the table, put it in there. I think everyone's been pretty good about who we have on staff anyway, so I think we're pretty good about this. So everyone that we've had join us, great. Love it. Awesome. So think long and hard. I'm just an old man. Thanks. I'm just an old man. thinking about, being an old man. So, anyways. All right. So, in other news, we have, I guess, airmen were charged protecting a nuclear missile silo. They got busted for taking LSD. So think about it. There's some Air Force weenies right now that were like tabbing. Is that what they call it? They call it tabbing, I guess. Like straight up. One airman felt paranoia. Another marveled at their vibrant colors. And the third admitted, I absolutely just love altering my mind. These are the individuals that were entrusted to guard our nuclear missiles. These kids were taking freaking hallucinogenic they were taking other mind-altering illegal drugs as part of a ring that operated undetected for months in Wyoming. So these guys were freaking LSD. Could you imagine? Oh, hey man, cool. What's up, bro? Shit. You want to nuke Russia? Could you imagine? They got busted because of slip up on social media. And it enabled the investigators to crack down on a drug ring at F.E. Warren Air Force Base in March of last year. However, it's just now being reported for the first time now. 14 airmen were disciplined, and 6 of them were convicted in court-martial of LSD use or distribution. Could you imagine, dude? Could you freaking imagine? These guys use dial-up modems anyways. Isn't that cute? Ice trying to talk that street lingo. Pfft, bro, I built the street, son. They just want to party. Exactly. So could you imagine that what could have happened? I mean, it's bad enough these guys are using dial-up modems and freaking floppy disks to operate these missile systems. Minutemen intercontinental ballistic missiles. These guys have been busted before already for, I guess there were some tests or something like that. They had some missile drills and like that, and they fucked it up. So they were accused of involvement of the LSD ring, and they were both from the 90th Missile Wing, which operates 1/3 of the 400 Minutemen III missiles that stand on alert 24/7 in underground silos scattered across the Great Plains. Documents obtained by the AP, which is source to this news, over the past 2 years through the Freedom of Information Act, tell a sordid tale of off-duty use of LSD, cocaine, and other hell of a drugs. They were supposed to be on strict behavioral standards because of their role securing the weapons. Duh. Now look. Let me take off my Soren hat right quick. You know, when you get out and do awesome stuff like that, or you do some of that shit, I could totally see you wanting to slip into those type of mind-altering substances and participate in herbal supplements. But not when you're responsible for flipping switches of missiles and shit. That would be your luck that you had that one guy. He's like I said, that one guy was paranoid. They had one guy that was really paranoid. Could you imagine if he saw like a wrong light or something like that go out, and then he would have thought what? He's like, oh God, Russia's coming. He'd lit him up. In response to AP inquiries, Air Force spokesman said the drug activity took place after duty hours, and there were multiple checks to ensure the airmen who reported to duty were not in the influence. So they probably had a lot of piss tests and shit. And so one of the airmen said that the LSD was supplied by his colleagues with connections to civilian drug dealers, because of course I know airmen, they bake that shit in their fucking rooms, right? So it has to be civilians. And so one of the kids said under oath that he felt paranoia and panic, and he confessed to using LSD 3 times while off duty. The first time was in the summer, and it shook him up. I didn't know if I was going to die that night or not. So he decides to take it again. Felt like I was going to have like a heart attack or a heat stroke. Dude, you think at that time you would stop, right? I mean, I would stop if it was something like that. They were bored. Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. There was a colonel that was busted for doing it. Yeah, exactly. So, They were still dirt. They were just installed with cobblestones. That's when I was a kid. So another one acknowledged that the influence of LSD he could have not responded if recalled to duty in the state and nuclear emergency. One of them admitted that. That he was so fucked up that if they had called him up to launch missiles, that he would not have been able to do it. You ever see those people with a bad trip? There's individuals. I mean, Jay Reddy he was talking about on one of his Saturday Night Savages shows about guys who just have bad trips. There's just some people that just have great trips. They have no issues. And then there's that always a percentage of that one person. That one person ends up taking it, and then freaking that's it. They end up pulling their teeth out. Just like that one girl who gouged her eyeballs out or something like that. That's why I'd be afraid to take some shit like that. I'd be so afraid to take something like that I would end up, like I said, I was telling Redleg and Minx that if when the DD-214 is in my hand and it's time for me to partake, and I want just to try something out or something like that, I gotta have nothing around me. Don't even have no Leathermans, no Gerbers, tools, nothing. I mean, I might as well just be in t-shirt and Ranger panties or some shit like that, just to be right there. No shoes on, no socks. Nothing. Just keep me, whatever. No way. Fake news, we just saying this to freak the Koreans out? I don't think so. So, that's a good point. That is a good point. So we said this. We said this right now that we got a bunch of stoned freaking airmen that are just crazy on the switch. Hey, man, what is that? Bro, it's a button, bro. No way. Yeah, exactly, Max. I've seen people have a bad trip, too. It's not pretty. Like in Florida, that one dude had a bad trip and was eating that homeless dude's face. I couldn't even imagine that. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure, Al, you've probably seen that stuff too, working in those psych wards. Is it PC to call it psych wards now? But I couldn't imagine. Exactly. You need a battle buddy. Definitely need a battle buddy for that type of use of marijuana. So, yeah. So again, there you go. So when there's time for me to take into the partake in some of those stuff, yeah, exactly. No bricks, no rocks, locked in a padded cell. You damn right. Exactly. Called in sick because their face was melting. Come on, dude. Are you serious, man? Fuck that. See, that right there scares me to do it. Why the hell would you want to feel like that? Do you know what happened to Ice, bro? No, what happened? Dude, he's like 2 years ago, he retired from the army, and the next he took something and he's running around naked. Dude, it was just a cigarette. No, man, it was laced or something. That'd be my luck. No way, dude. Nuh-uh. Why do that? Oh, I'd have to be retired for something like that. Have to be. But anyways, so they've been charged with that. They of course, obviously. It was on base and off, and they would be at least twice. Some of them snorted cocaine and used ecstasy. A civilian joined them in the LSD use, and who had recently left the Air Force, and they did have knowledge of the investigation. So I guess there was a leader of the drug ring, and said he had no problem getting LSD, and then he pleaded guilty to distributing LSD using ecstasy, cocaine, and marijuana. Boy, he just used all of them. He acknowledged using LSD 8 times. 8 times, dude. I just love altering my mind, man. The other airmen testified that it was easy to obtain LSD in liquid form and spread it on small tabs of perforated white paper. So, yeah, see? That's why I call them tab. In one episode summarized by a military judge at their court-martial, they watched YouTube videos and then went longboarding on the streets of Denver while high on LSD. So I wonder if any of them can. Could you lose your gun privileges by getting busted for that? I wonder. I'm gonna call the judge. So yeah, exactly that. Depending on your state of mind, exactly. Depending on your state of mind, will be the trip. So if you're generally a fucking happy person and all that stuff, you'll probably have a good time. If you're always kind of you're chilling and you like hanging out and you're a happy person, or you're always laid back. Usually those ones that have it is the ones that are fucking bitter about something, that are fucking angry all the time, and all that. They got shit going on in their life, and the next thing you know, they take a bad trip, and the next thing you know, they got a Leatherman gouging their teeth out, pulling their teeth out with a pair of pliers because they had a bad trip. No way, dude. No. Nope. Quote, I'm dying, unquote, is what one of them said. When is this going to end? One of them had a bad trip, obviously. A portion of that episode was recorded by one of the members of the group. The others said they enjoyed the drug. So, of course, that one guy was, whatever. Now, here's the best part. One of the guys that got busted said that he had used LSD in high school, which could have disqualified him from the Air Force to begin with. But he said that his recruiter told him that he should lie about it, and that lying about prior drug use was normal in the Air Force. Yeah, exactly. Lose the gun, but the nukes are okay. So think about that. Think about that right now. But anywho, yeah, I'm not going to get into the weeds of this stuff, because there's like a lot of talking about technical Air Force ICBM stuffs and all this other shit, and whatever. So there was also one of the guys, just real quick, the ringleader of all of it said, rule number 1, no social media at all. No bad trips. Everybody's happy right now, and let's keep it that way. That's kind of like the general rule, right? That's why kids get in trouble nowadays. It's because they post that shit on social media and it goes viral. That's crazy. That is fucking crazy. I can't believe that. The Air Force. This is what happened in the Air Force. But hey, I guess no one's immune from the dangers of that type of use. So, that's weird. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, there's been a big deal. So I'm gonna tell you right now. There was some stuff that was kind of pissing me off in the inbox of the main page that really just kind of like irked me. Look, stop. If you're a kid, if you got a little one and TRICARE's not covering something, I'm pretty positive that you will get it approved. You will get that GoFundMe to get on the main page. If you've made poor adult life decisions and you're a frequent flyer, you're probably not going to get it. If you are a middle person, if you are somebody who saw this on your feed and decide to do that, but then get the ass because the main page doesn't post it on there, then no. I hate that shit. It's really starting to get on my nerves. We're gonna talk about the phone. Yeah, I guess we want to talk about it. You guys want to talk about it? I guess we can talk about it. Just real quick, I just want to talk about right now. There's something that's happening right now. Effective immediately. There's going to be I think this next pay period, there's going to be 4,000 soldiers not getting their BAH. And I can just imagine the screams of ex-wives and dependas are fucking going nuts right now when I just said that. So here's what happened. Back in March, the Army made everybody update all their records. And they said, you need to update your records because we need to make sure that you are entitled. Hey, what's up, Pooks?
How you doing?
Oh, just telling, man. Thank you for the getting the rotation in the turret, man.
Oh yeah, man.
Hey, what'd you think of All American Week?
It was amazing. I had a freedom boner when I watched them the howitzers come in on the Chinooks, man.
Dude,
I was like, oh my god.
I know that.
Oh
Wicked.
my god.
That's fucking wicked, man.
Loved it, man.
So the Army said back in March, actually they said you have up until March. They had given you a fairly good amount of time that you had to have your dependents and your status accurately identified in iPerms, meaning that if you are married and you're supposed to get VAH with dependents because you're with your dependents, then that information was supposed to be inside your iPerms, meaning marriage certificate, birth certificate, spouse's birth certificate, your birth certificate, whatever. Some specific amount of some specific documents had to be inside to have your BAH, I guess, validated is what they called it. So once you get that validated, then that's it. There you go. The reason why is because the Army wants to move electronic to everything, so that way you're no longer carrying files around, which is understandable because, I've had some records missing, and had I not listened to my bosses and said, make sure you update your stuff in iPerms, and you go tell the S1 to update your shit, I would not have been able to recover some documents that, oh my God, I didn't realize I had that. So, it's a good thing. So what ended up happening is the Army gave it, I think it was like last year, and they gave it till like March to do it. Well, they said they're going to go through and they're going to find out. Well, now it's been identified that approximately 4,000 soldiers are going to be the ones that are not going to, they're not going to have BAH.
That's rough.
Well, they were, everyone's talking about this stuff right here about the weed stuff. Anyways, so they didn't do it. They didn't put their documents in. They didn't put any of their stuff inside. So right now you have 4,000 soldiers that are losing their BAH because they didn't update their stuff.
So they had like 3 months to update their info and then get around to doing it?
Yeah. It was like, BAH was going to end, and everyone said, it was going to happen. And everybody make sure that you do this. Cause if you don't, then this is what's going to happen if you don't do it. They even extended the date for it. So now everyone is freaking the fuck out. Cause now, of course, people want their BAH.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people who are in leases and shit like that. Yeah, I think they really, really want that.
Well, yeah, they want their BAH, but there's some people that I know for a fact don't deserve the BAH.
Yeah, I can agree with you. I knew a few situations while I was in that, I'm like, how the hell are y'all getting BAH? But whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's not one of those things to where everyone's going, oh, well, that's fucked up. Maybe the military needs to do this. No. It's already done. It's already happening. So they were required to do it. It was like they were given their time. They had pre-poed it, and then that's what it was. They had pre-poed the thing, and then they'd also given an Army message January 2nd that they had until more March. And they even said that we'll see a rate reduction at the end of May LES. It's already happened. So they're saying right now we have fucking 4,000 soldiers that didn't do it. Now, where do you think that comes from?
Probably BAH fraud at that point.
Bingo. Exactly. So now everyone's like, well, I deserve to have this and I deserve to have that. So dual military couples are given the BAH payment at the with dependence rate unless they have children. And that means one of them will get it and the other one will not. Single parents get BAH with dependents if the kid is living with them. I know because I was single dad. I know that.
Yeah.
So, your wife being back somewhere else, do you get it then? Like if you're a geo bachelor, do you get BAH?
Yeah, I thought you got it without dependents.
Correct.
All right.
So, but there are some individuals that were married, and me being of divorce experience, I know this. That I had to hurry up and update my paperwork because I was still getting BAH when I lived in the barracks when I got my my divorce, and so you cannot have BAH and live in the barracks. Otherwise, you have to find your own fucking housing.
Yep.
Barracks for life. So
Yeah, that's a legit thing, man. The barracks. Everyone wants to get out of the barracks, but being in the barracks is fun. I don't know what everyone.
I had, exactly. Kind of surprised they aren't asking for the soldiers to pay back money. No, they've taken it. You don't understand. They've already taken it. They've already identified that if you didn't put your paperwork in, they've taken it already. So it's not like an issue of the soldiers say, hey, look, you need to file this before that. They had already put it out that if you do not have this turned in within a specific amount of time, then you're going to get your BAH either reduced.
So they just cut them off at that point. They didn't hit them with a no pay due kind of like I've seen some guys get hit with.
Well, no, they're just changing their benefit. You know what I mean? And it could be it could identify those individuals. You're right, though. It could identify fraud.
And then you wind up with like 3 years of no pay due. Enjoy that shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, normally what they do for the for no pay dues or something like that is that they'll you can have if you have a good S1, you can have them prorate it. They'll just prorate that shit, and that way they'll only take a little bit out. So they'll take like one of your checks, half of your checks, and then they'll fucking they'll prorate the rest. It's like a little payment plan or something like that. But you have to put in for it. You just can't fucking you guys gonna prorate it, then that's it.
Yeah, I got hit with 3 months of separate rats. I wasn't paying attention to my thing. I came back from Iraq and I wasn't paying attention to my stuff, and I was getting separate rats. Dumb specialist I was.
Yeah.
And they hit me with a no pay due for 3 months, but I was living in a barrack, so it was like whatever.
Well, personally, I think all soldiers should get separate rats. This is just I think all soldiers should get separate rats, and here's the reason why I say this. I have eaten with my soldiers at the DFAC with them, like, hey, first sergeant, you want to go get some? Yeah, let's go get some breakfast. And I literally, we walked into the DFAC one time, and I looked at the chow that they were serving. First off, they were being treated like shit. I once in a while, exactly. You did not choose the divorced life. The divorced life chose you. Well, exactly, Alfred. But the thing is that the walking to the barracks, hey, go grab my guys, and we're all hanging out and shit like that. Let's go meet, and like first sergeant, we had some bullshit like cleanup or something like that, and so they're like, hey, you want to get some, first sergeant, you want to join us to go get some chow? I'm like, yeah, sure. If you have a good S1, there's only like 3 of them in the army. Good point. So I'm like, yeah, let's go get some chow. So we all went, and the DFAC was close to the barracks, and we walked across the street. The DFACs have that weird almost like sewer-like smell to it. Every single fucking DFAC. Yeah. Every single fucking DFAC, after allotments, exactly. Every single DFAC in the army that I've ever been near, when I walk by it, it smells like sewer. It smells like stench, like stink water, like swamp, swamp gas. And
it's all that egg water they're cooking up.
Yeah, exactly. So we go in there, and the first thing I see is how the fucking head count is, and I'm standing behind the troops because troops eat first, and they're all pulling their meal carts out. They were doing the right thing. There was a guy who was on separate rats, and it was a Joe, and he gave up paid like his $2.95 or something like that. And just by the way they were fucking treating him, I was just looking at them. I was like,
was it civvies or was it military?
It was both. It had contract. It was a contractor. It was contractors with military, and the contractor was going off on the Joe, and that pisses me off because contractors don't go off on fucking soldiers. Contractors are contractors. They work for the government, not the other way around. So I don't give a fuck if you are a spoon. So I kind of raised my eyebrow, and I said, "Is this I just asked, is this how you talk to all the soldiers that come through here?" And she's like, well, if they don't have their ID card and they don't have this, if they have a meal card, I think that should pass, because obviously a soldier with a meal card would not come in, and first sergeant, a soldier right there, he's not supposed to be in PTs, and he's good, he's with me, and so the mess sergeant. They just all fucking they were just all, I don't know, it's just weird. The whole line was just fucking treating the Joes like crap. I have family members in the military that provide that type of culinary service, and they're not, I ask sometimes. Hey, I need some help with this, or I need some help with that, or this and this. So I kind of know the spoon life a little bit, and they do a thankless job. But just because you do a thankless job doesn't mean that you don't do your job the best you can, just like everybody else does. And so that I was looking at the chow they were giving them, fucking scrambled eggs, couple hardly whatever. I guess it was bread that they call French toast was sitting inside the fucking thing. There was critters running around the floor, and I just said, "All right, guys, everyone stop. Who here paid money and all that sort of shit?" And they're like, "Okay, there was a couple of, I had a couple of sergeants pay money and all that." And I go, "Let's go get in your fucking POVs and let's go to fucking IHOP." So I took my guys to IHOP.
Oh,
fuck that!
You're a fucking unicorn, man.
I was pissed, dude. I was seeing the troops eating crap. When we
I mean, I've plenty of NCOs that would have just been like, "Fuck that," whatever, and just left his Joes there to eat.
No, I've never just left my Joes to eat. No, not at least when I can help it. Like fucking. It was like I said, it was like 8 kids, that were with me, and then NCOs. So I was like, that was mixed bag. It was like 2 NCOs and and 6 soldiers. Kids, they're all kids. I mean, come on, call you all kids. You're all younger than me. So we all met at freaking IHOP, and of course, you get the standard, you're doing an IHOP, what are you doing civilian clothes? You better, I'm gonna, who is your unit? Who's your first sergeant? And I come around the corner, I'm his first sergeant. So you can just imagine a look on leaders, on buck sergeants and staff sergeants asking my Joes, what are they doing at IHOP, when I'm asking them, what are they doing at IHOP?
So wait. You're not allowed to eat at a restaurant in your uniform?
I know some of them have the ass about that shit. Some of them get the serious, they get serious stink eye when they see they I don't know, they just look. There's nothing like, for instance, if you have a soldier that has an appointment in the morning, if I'm not your first sergeant, I don't know you. It's not up to me to sit there and ask you, a soldier who is not of my company, as a first sergeant or as a battalion, CSM. I don't ask you, why are you here? Because the obvious question, if you're an IHOP, because you're eating.
I'm here to eat.
You're here to eat, exactly. So
I call it a major case of MYB, mind your business.
Yeah, exactly. So I would get pissed off, and I look at, like I said, it's like, "Oh, who's your first sergeant?" And I'm like, no shit. It was like almost like choreographed. Well, who's your first sergeant? I'm like, I'm his first sergeant. Like, oh, first sergeant, I know you were here. Yeah, what? Why are you breaking my guy's balls? Oh no, first sergeant, I just saw him. He was in PTs. Yeah, he's got a fucking appointment. That's why he's gonna eat. I'm paying for his chow because the DFAC on post sucks. And so I'm going to feed him, and then he can be on his appointment. That's why he is in PTs. Your unit policy may not be fucking rolling around in PTs and in the fucking downtown. However, you're not in my company, so leave my fucking guys alone and move the fuck out. Right, first sergeant, and they fucking take off all blah, blah. Fucking, you know how fucking Joes are. They mouth off when they're fucking walking away, and obviously when I'm in uniform as a first sergeant, I can't just like pull out my pistol and cap some fucking Joes, right? I just can't do it. So we go inside, we pay, and I see warrant officers, lieutenant colonels, because the IHOP where I'm at, everyone swings by there for what? Because everybody knows the DFAC fucking sucks. It's next to post. It's real quick, so if you got an appointment, you can go to the hospital. If you got a medical appointment or you got whatever, some of the things that need to be taken care of are downtown anyways. So you just get out of the fucking, go and all. So I would do that for my Joe. I mean, whatever. Fuck, man. Like I told you guys before, I'm E4 Mafia at heart, Spec 4 Locos. Exactly, Katie. Duh. I'm here for the fucking all-you-can-eat pancakes. My guys did break my balls, though, when I would drink cranberry juice. I don't know. I just like cranberry juice.
I do, too.
It's just fucking good. So yeah, so I got that a lot. So when there was a situation to where there were the kids that I would know that are living in the barracks and they're not producing meal cards when they're in the barracks, I asked them, why are you paying? Why don't you have a meal card? Are you on BH? I mean, I know my kids anyways because I get the commander's finance report every month, so I know who's not getting or not. And I'll ask, and I have no problem with Tombstone asking me, Top, And I don't mind being called top. Fuck, man. That pretentious fucking bullshit. Your first sergeant is not a toy. He's a, don't call him top. Hey, motherfucker, how about you let me decide what he can call me? I don't mind being called top. Okay, top first sergeant's better than being called piece of shit or asshole or shitbag. So as a first sergeant, being called a shitbag would probably be the worst name you could ever give me. I would fucking like lose it. I might go seek counseling or some shit. But you don't sit there and fucking berate a soldier and all that. Come to find out, the reason why some of the kids were going is because the DFAC fucking sucked. So then what I would do is like, okay, cool. Hey, sir, we need to put these kids right here fucking separate rats. Why? Well, because they got this, they got that, and I got that. Oh, okay, cool. Roger that. That's it.
Subpar quality is all I would say. Is
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The DFAC does not provide any nutritional value for the intensity of workouts and stuff we do for our soldiers. And you got guys, because I want to train the troops. Every leader wants to train their troops to be in good, physical condition to do their shit, right? So you would expect, you have all, Jay already talked about the keto diet. How could you sit there and be in shape with all this stuff? You talk about the Army being in fitness when you don't provide them the chow to sustain that. Well, you need to go see a dietitian. What the fuck is the dietitian gonna say?
Eat the shit that's not on the menu.
Eat the shit that's not on the menu. So what my CSM would always bust my ass. Ice, you have so many fucking soldiers on separate rats. Why? And I'll go blah 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 blah. Where my company is at, the DFAC is blah 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 blah. It's further than 3 miles to walk. Blah 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 blah. Doesn't give them fucking time to go do this. Blah 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 blah. Some soldiers don't have POVs. Blah 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 blah. Oh, and I just made all of them alternate armorers. That's exactly that. I have a Pierce lozenge on my chest, not lasagna.
make them armorers or mailroom clerks. There you go.
Exactly, because that's what I would do. That's first sergeants. If you're listening, that's the loophole to get all your troops on a separate rats. You have a primary, and then you have 150 alternates. You just don't tell your sergeant major which one has the account to open up to deactivate the alarm.
Oh shit.
So that way, because sergeant majors like to spot check you and shit. But no way, dude. I'm not gonna freaking sit there and go, No, I would. I mean, I always felt that your job as a first sergeant to take heat rounds. You know what I mean? I'd be like, now if it was something that I was obviously like, I don't know, you're doing a convoy op or something like that, and then you jump in the truck of one of your NCOs that you think is high speed, and all of a sudden his vehicle runs out of gas or something like that, and you just laugh. I just laugh. You fucking do, man. Now, if he didn't have gas cans in the vehicle to refuel on the move, then I won't be laughing. So, yeah, it's funny as shit. So, yeah, so why wouldn't you? Now, I saw somebody in the questions about the drinking a uniform.
I'm guilty of it, doing a lot actually, but whatever. No one ever asked me shit.
Here is the way I see it when it comes to that. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say I have not drank in uniform or I have not observed soldiers drinking in uniform. You know what I mean? I have drank in uniform. Was it in a public place? Was it somewhere where there's a lot of people that could see me? Probably not. But I wasn't at the strip club. You know what I mean? It was at a NCO call, and it was at a restaurant that also served alcohol. And it was after duty, so the sergeant major used to get the NCOs together. And it's like, hey, meet me at this restaurant. We'll go this, and this. I mean, like literally after fucking work. And so, okay, well, not literally after work. It'd be like we'd leave at, we'd leave early at 1600 or some shit, and then we'd go meet this restaurant, and then we'd have a beer. And is that wrong? It's right. It's right. Spec 4 for life. Spec 4 locos.
Wasn't there like an old regulation way back in the day saying you could have like 2 beers at lunch or something like that?
There was actually a regulation on etiquette of what is considered a social hour and all that, when you can be drinking. That's why the NCO clubs are now all ranks clubs, because that old regulation was from those things. So you had an NCO club, you had an all ranks club. In the NCO club, within the NCO club, there was the High 3 club, which you were Sergeant First Class, Master Sergeant, First Sergeant, or Sergeant Major, or Command Sergeant Major. So there was that NCO. It was the NCO club. I remember when I was a Joe at Fort Hood, and there was the NCO club right next to the highway. You'd leave Robert Gray Army Airfield, and then you'd go onto the highway to go to fucking main post. And you just like, there was the NCO club right there. The NCO club was off post. It was like, no shit, Fort Hood had the NCO club off post, and it was called the NCO club. And, you know, you walked in there, and you freaking, you know, the reason why I know about the NCO club and what it had as a Joe, how do I know? Because, you know, I'm a Joe. I fucking, you know, what do they do for you know how Fort Bragg has clean sweep? For Red Cycle on Fort Hood, you clean up those places. Like you'd mow the lawn around the NCO club, or you'd help the cook clear out the kitchen. You know, you do detail. It's like a detail. It's like post details. So
KP, man.
Yeah, exactly. So you went in there, and it was like going to the girls' bathroom. You're like some mystical powers out of the girls' bathroom because they all go in there at the same time, right? And they all like regenerate or do some shit. So I was like, that was like a mystical. It was like a mystical temple that you're going into the NCO club. And the guy that was there, he was in charge of the dining area, said, "Now you fucking privates and you specialists, you need to stay out of that fucking door right there." And I looked at the door, and it was like a nice paneled door, and it had 3 ranks, and they were like diagonal, you know, left to right going down. I remember this. And it said on the top, high 3. Like it was written like, "Abandon ye all hope who could enter here," type shit. Like all like death row looking fucking stencils and shit. And it was double doored, and the ranks, there was Sergeant Major CSM on one right, and then the middle rank was split between the first sergeant, like the handles were like split between the first sergeant and the master sergeant rank, and then there was sergeant first class. And it said high 3. And they were like, "Don't go in there." And he's like, "But I need volunteers to go inside to move some tables." And of course, you know, Joe, you know, "Don't do that." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll raise my hand. You know, I'll go in there." And so we went in there, and opening the door, it was like going into a fucking speakeasy. It was like that's where you saw history. I didn't know Paul Funk was in the NCO club in the high 3 and had an autograph to the NCOs of blah, 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 blah. Wow. Pete Taylor, the commander of Fort Hood, was up there and he signed his shit. General Patton, 2nd Armored Division, my favorite division, over my heart, blah, 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 hell on wheels. I was like, there was some history in that place. And I'm thinking, I can't wait to be a sergeant. I can't wait to be a sergeant. I can't wait to be a non-commissioned officer. I can't wait. Because those were some of the histories and tradition that we had back in the day. Think about it right now. Do we have anything that we can call our own as NCOs when it comes to an NCO club? No.
No, because they like bled everything out, like pretty much. I mean, but officers' clubs are still kind of like all inclusive now, aren't they?
Yeah, well, everything's inclusive now. Now they have conference centers and catering centers, and the officer club is the only one that's
sports
separate.
centers.
Yeah, sports centers. So yeah, exactly that. Everyone's like, I'll mix them together. Let's put it this way. This is how long ago I was stationed at Fort Hood. They were building the Soldiers Dome.
Damn, they shut that shit down when I came through there.
Really? Oh yeah, I heard it's like a, I don't know. Spanky said it was like a fucking conference room. It's like a big place where you just hang out. It's not like a theater.
No, when I went through there, like with the All-American Sports Bar or whatever the hell it was at Hood, they shut it down and turned it into like an SRP center.
That's what it was. Yeah. So it was the old bar. So did you ever go in there? Did you walk in there to do the SRP?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, before the building was constructed, me and several Joes were in there fucking around because we were on detail Motor Pro Row, and during Red Cycle, of course. And the building wasn't secured, and they wanted us to go grab some pallets around that whole area when the Soldiers Dome was being built. And I had to go to the bathroom really bad. There was no fucking porta potty, not at all, dude. I was like, I had to go. You know, fucking Toon Sergeant telling you to drink. You know, make sure you have your 2 quart when you're doing your details. So so you're a bunch of Joes running around with 2 quarts hanging. This is before the dark times, before PT belts, and you had to have a 2 quart. You know, you were on Red Cycle detail when you had your top off, your BDU top off, and then you had a 2 quart strapped over you, because you were doing details. I had to go to the bathroom so bad, dude, because it was Texas. It's fucking hot. It was so, dude. It was just like stench in the back of the 510, moving shit around, and I had to go, bad. So when you first go into the Soldiers Dome or SRP Center, you know how it's got that little foyer, and then to the right, that's when it starts going to the offices. I peed right there. I had to, man.
Now we know.
I had to.
Now we know.
Oh man, I had to. So if you ever wondered why there was a funny looking stain sitting right there and it just won't go away, man, I'm serious, man. I had to pee so freaking bad. Yeah, exactly that. The Sports Dome used to be the Sports Dome or the Soldiers Dome, whatever they called it. It was called the Soldiers. Anyways, so yeah, that was the history of. That's when it became away from. Sorry, I just attempt to bring it back. There was an NCO club back on Hood. It's called the Backbone, but it's open to all rank because of reasons. Yeah, Spanky, thanks. Because of reasons. That's how you harness that camaraderie amongst NCOs. Man, we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to take a break, and then, we'll be back. So, NCO shots. Shots.
Take this photograph, tell me what it is you see when you look at me. Deep into the photography, I don't really need your sympathy, just tell me your thoughts. Have I got what they got, and is it a plot done for naught? Am I not like you, because I do what I do? Who knew that I could lose a few of you cause I bleed blue? But it's true, I know cause I see it every day as I work and I sleep the day away. Like you I have pain, and like you I have fear. Can I pay all of the bills and still make it through the year? Will I make it home alive? Should I pray to the sky every day and every night? Will I hold you by my side? But in the public eye, I don't even have a heart. A robot of the system moving only when I'm told to start. Rip apart my art, I'm strong like a flower blooming. You got it all wrong, I know I'm breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
Call me a vet like a soldier. Green beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see today. In the constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving the day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you, so blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same inside. The only difference is I run to the gunfight, get peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. You pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media betrayed me like a kid for a living, like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. If you are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
U.S. Army WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back, broadcasted live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. Well, we're talking about NCO clubs of excellence. I cannot even imagine what it would be like if the Army were to go back with the NCO club system. The NCO club system has, I don't know, it just seemed like to me it was one of those things that gave you, how do I say this?
Motivation to promote.
Yeah, it felt like this was an area where you could go into where you didn't feel like you were going to get stabbed in the back by anybody. You know what I mean? It was an area where you can go and vent and discuss things at a different level. And then when you go into the high 3, then that's when you can really seriously talk about some shit. Now, it's not something for you to get rip-roaring fucking drunk or whatever, but it's something where you can chill, relax, smoke a cigar, smoke a cigarette. You know, well, now you can't smoke in buildings anymore. But there, it's almost like the Army pulls pieces of our traditions out, but then wonders why they're having recruitment problems or they're having retention problems, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest thing is that I don't like the fact that when a tradition gets pulled back and then a Joe's like, I miss old Army. I heard old school. He's old school Army like that. But then when there's old school brought in, you lose your shit.
They lose shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
You get fucking pissed off. It's like, why are we doing a stupid NCO induction ceremony? Okay. Why are we doing this fucking NCO call? Why are we doing NCO PD? Well, I mean, NCO PD, believe it or not, is supposed to be development.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't supposed to be
professional development.
It is not supposed to be you doing your fucking 350-1 training or your online SSDs and shit. Which, by the way, Jose's tracking a story right now. Somebody who hasn't done their SSDs.
I thought they were getting rid of that shit.
No. They were talking about it. Yeah, Facebook is fucking up because we are rocking the all the platforms right now. I don't know why. Hang on, let me double check my Facebook to make sure that it is rocking, and then we can continue the party. Let me see. Are we up on all the are we up on the Twitter universes? Let me see. Let me look at the
I would have no idea.
I don't have a Twitter account, but you can look at if someone is like you can go on Twitter and let's type the video in there and you can see if anybody's got like whatever. And then if you go too far it'll tell you to log in, so I got to be careful. Hang on, let me Googleize WTF Nation Radio's Twit account. And are we broadcasting? Yeah, we're good. Broadcasting on that. Broadcasting on Facebook Live. Broadcasting all that stuff. So anyways, don't know where it is. You might have to refresh or open up a new browser unless you got a bunch of tabs up. And probably doing that because you're in a tab or whatever. But anyways, it's one of those things where I get frustrated when the Army says that, we don't do that anymore. Why? I want to know why NCO clubs were taken away.
Or why wall-to-wall counseling was taken away.
I really don't want to say it was wall-to-wall counseling because I don't want to make it sound like, because that to me, I don't want to make it sound like that I just got pinned so that way I can beat the fuck out of a soldier and get away with it. You know what I mean? Because if you were a good leader, if you were mentoring properly, and you were there for your soldier as required, because you're not there to fucking, to me, taking care of your troops isn't giving them time off and whatever. No, taking care of your troops is making sure they're properly trained, they're fucking equipped, and then they're fed, and then they're given the right, the tools to go out and close in with the enemy and fuck them up. That's what your job is, to being a good leader. That's taking care of your soldiers, and then obviously you work hard, and then you play hard. And I will tell you what, that exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were allowed in the NCO club in Korea. Well, they would have open house at the NCO club at Fort Hood where you were allowed to bring your Joe. That it was like, and it was kind of weird, like you're bringing an initiate or something like that. You know what I mean? Like who's your sacrificial specialist, and and then your NCO would bring in a soldier that was really squared away, who was good on PT, good on his weapons. Whatever, and then you brought him up, and then you shot the shit with him and all that, and you got to see. You're like, whoa! It just felt kind of weird because you're in a room full of stripes, and then you were kind of looking around like, oh man, I don't want to fuck up. They were like, hey, Specialist Ice, you're not gonna drink a beer? I'm like, I'm sipping on it. You know what I mean? You don't want to. You don't know what your boundaries were, but you were just kind of seeing how, and it was very fraternal. Very, very. It was a fraternity of oh shit. Oh man, I haven't pulled this thing out in a long time. Hang on. What's up, Stank?
Hey guys, what is going on?
What's going on, brother? How you been, man?
Not too much, man. I've been intrigued by your current vein of conversation over the last 5-10 minutes or so, dude. And just felt that I just had to reach out and number one say hi. It's been a while. Good to hear all you guys.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah. So I got the whole NCO club deal, and then hey, we just can't. We don't have the coin for an NCO club. This is like an enlisted club, and then before you know it, God knows what you got. That's one thing. However, I did have something to say regarding, and I appreciate, as a leader, as a manager who wants to be one of those who makes sure that his soldiers and his troops have everything they need to do to accomplish the mission. And that should be sufficient, right?
Yeah.
And then with that, you should not have any need or requirement for a, quote, wall-to-wall counseling.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And by the way, I appreciate that because that's all I got. You know, I'm an old guy like you, yeah? However, we have to understand that we have some now generational and cultural differences.
Exactly.
So perhaps, or some of the younger guys are like, yeah, okay, Sergeant, I appreciate it. I got beans, I got bullets, you know, I got my one hot out of the day, yeah, and I got a cot, you know. But that's not enough. You're just not assuaging my feelings and acknowledging who I am as a person. And I don't think you're respecting my 19-year-old superior in all that.
Well, I mean, but you got to think about it though. But you got to think about it though. There are a lot of leaders right now that are intimidated by smart troops. Even when I was coming in, you know the deal. When me and you were Joes, you had that one guy that
smart.
It was not really a smart ass, but he was like snarky. You know what I mean? And you had that. You had. I don't want to say that NCO was an idiot, but you had a platoon sergeant that was kind of like not really fast, but not really slow, but kind of like not keeping up with his Joe. And then all the other Joes would say, "This guy's a piece of shit. He's being disrespectful." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get it. You know, are you worthy to lead me? You know, and that's time immemorial. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just to me, it's like what you brought it up before. You're right. If you are an effective leader and you are there with your troops and you're not being your soldiers' friends, that's the biggest thing that soldiers seem to fail. The Army back in the day, as soon as you got promoted to sergeant, you were moved out of the organization. As soon as you got promoted to sergeant, you were moved out of the organization and put into another battalion. If that couldn't be available, it would be another company. So that way, those that were with you, you kind of like broke ranks. And you were now with new people. So they saw you as Buck Sergeant Ice or Buck Sergeant Stank or Buck Sergeant Pookie. And they saw you walking in and they're like, who's this guy? So that way there was no contamination or undue familiarity of who you were. So that way you can immediately go in and just start your shit. You start doing your thing.
Yeah.
Start sergeanting.
And a great policy, which logistics and personnel reductions and then of course also too the purification of MOSs, you know, experience, you know, and stays of the unit, which has kind of mitigated a lot of that, unfortunately. But yeah, that was a proper approach. But I have actually sat in units where I had no other recourse, but other than I've got 2 E4s. One of them is actually, you know, has a point requirement and everything else to be promoted to E5. And the other one, you know, is not that bad, but, you know, it's still a little bit of a dirt bag, but those two don't get along with each other. Promote him to E5. And then there's, what do they call discourse amongst the brethren, you know? And so now I've got an E5 who's worthless to me, you know, because that little E4 worm that got overlooked, you know? You know, it's just sowing seeds of dissent.
Well,
I'm having to back up another E5 and et cetera. It's a nightmare, you know.
It is, but that's because that policy, or it was not known that, like, for instance, if you were in charge, we were just talking about barracks. You know, if you're now in the barracks and now you live in the barracks and you were promoted from specialist to sergeant, and now you walk down the hallway and the first sergeant has placed you in charge of the floor. And your buddies that you just fucking partied with last weekend are now soldiers that must tell you, and you're, oh, come on, man, come on, Stan, come on, man, we were just drinking last week. Remember when you were, you know, we were doing body shots off that hooker in the fucking room 301. You don't remember that? And you're like, dude, I gotta, you know, y'all gotta fucking shut the fuck up, man. Florence, you know, something like that. And there's guys that don't respect it.
Right.
So that's why you remember back in the day when that kid got beat up with a baseball bat, and because they're all fucking drinking, and one of the soldiers was gay and admitted that he was gay while they were all fucking drunk, and was like, they were got in an argument, and then one fucking Joe, there was a sergeant in the area. There was a sergeant that was hearing all this shit, all this rowdy shit. This happened in Fort Campbell back in early 2000s. I think in 99, 2000 or something like that. And there was a sergeant there There was a sergeant in the area that could have prevented it. However, because of that undue familiarity, do you honestly think that sergeant would have stood a chance? I mean, come on. First off, if you're drunk and you're using a bat against somebody who is drunk as well as a fucking weapon, you're fucking wrong. I would have, as a sergeant, have taken the fucking bat and said, okay, guys, throw hands. You got 5 minutes. Because, Joes, they don't fight like they used to, so they're going to last for like 2 or 3 minutes because they're going to be exhausted, and that's it. As long as nobody's head is hitting pavement and they're throwing hands on the grass, that's what I used to say. You got a beef? Well, sir, this motherfucker came in here and said, what would you? No, his bullshit. He's lying. Well, what's the issue? Is there going to be beef? Well, is that what? I said, look, you guys just need to throw hands, and then would both look at me like, huh? You guys need to throw hands. If there's something that's personally going to happen to you while you guys in the rear, I don't want that shit going with me when we go to Iraq or Afghanistan or Africa or fucking, Thailand or whatever mission that we're put on, whatever our unit's going to be sent to. I'll be damned if I'm going to have this drama going on here while you guys are having, you know what I mean? You guys having beef, and then I'm going to take you guys deployed. So let's go.
Knock it out right now.
And knock it out right now. And then then I'd go to the first sergeant and say, hey, Top, can I send out the combatives kit? And he knows it, and that is code word for you're going to go supervise your soldiers beat the shit out of each other because they need to handle themselves. They need to handle themselves like men. And that's what usually happens. And usually that worked out. There was no drama.
No.
There was no beef. There'd be some laughing and joking.
Yeah, it's actually ironic. And usually they get a little closer after that too. Weird thing. Intimacy in a weird way. But yeah, you're right. Oh man. But anyway, yeah. But bear in mind too, though. Go ahead. I'm
just saying. What's your take on how the difference of how the soldiers are being treated? That maybe that some of the restrictions that were normal to us coming up would be like a death blow to Joe's now. So do you think that those should not be brought back? Any policies? Like the thing with Korea with the curfew stuff? I mean, they've had curfew back in the day, but now it's gotten to the point where it's just fucking straight stupid. You have to be there, do a bed check. Half an hour prior, and then the platoon sergeant's going to be half an hour prior, and then the team leader half hour prior, squad leader half hour prior before the first sergeant goes half hour prior, and then curfew's at midnight. However, with all the half hour priors that have been added to that curfew, then you're
coming home at 9:30.
Yeah, if that. So, so do you think that should be different?
Well, okay, so what you just discussed has been a bane of all of us, even old goats like us, back in the day, from range times to muster up times for pack movements to the whole 9 yards, and it's annoying as shit. No, honestly, I don't think that's approved. I think, quite frankly, at some point, individuals need to be held accountable for individual actions. But then that's where this whole team concept also comes into play. The problem is that you always have the individuals who refuse to move with the team. And so one person shits their pants, everybody ends up wearing diapers, right? Been to Korea, lived the dream, lived the curfew, but I can tell you, I have stood there waiting to get through the gate on foot, watching the clock, going, Jesus Christ, move this line along, man. I'm about to bust curfew. Been there, done that. So, for what it's worth, let the boys have their air out. So,
exactly, because you don't, and sometimes I end up asking them before they do this, the first thing I ask them, I said, think about what you guys are going to get, what you're going to throw hands for. What is it about? You got pissed off because, I played grad ass in the barracks too. Come on, I'm not no fucking angel. There was a Joe that fucking annoyed the shit out of me one time. We were all privates, and he used to piss me the fuck off, and he used to talk so much fucking shit. And we used to all on the stoop go fuck. We used to shine boots, and then when I got pissed off at him, I got a rock and fucking scraped the top of his fucking boot after he just polished it. And that right there, I deserve to get my ass kicked? Fuck yeah.
Yes.
I deserve to get my ass kicked, but I wanted to challenge him. Now, he went to go tell his squad leader, and then the squad leader, locked me the fuck up, and I was doing roll ice, and fucking all this other shit, and it was already pre-coordinated with the platoon sergeant, so it was like I couldn't. It was handled, but I would always ask, what was the reason why you two? What is the issue? Because if you're arguing over a chick, dude, sorry, nothing's fair in fucking loving hoes. So don't fucking go off and go get pissed off because you two were seeing the same chick, and the chick doesn't like you but likes your friend. That's not a reason to throw hands. However, if 2-3 years down the road and they have a family together and you want to see how his friend's wife is doing, you're gonna get your ass kicked. So what's the reason why you guys are fucking throwing mitts? I mean, to me, it's easy. It's you fucking handle it right now. And
you scuffed my boots.
Yeah, exactly. You scuffed my boots. I mean, I look back at it, and I clearly remember his reaction because he was from Texas. He's like, "Ice, you got balls, man. Fucking kuyons. You got the most largest balls I ever seen. I'm going to be back to deal with your ass." And I'm thinking, fuck, this motherfucker's going to shoot me or something like that. Or, because where I'm from, I'm going to come back and deal with your ass means the motherfucker's going to his car and grabbing a fucking gun out of his fucking, that's just where I'm from. That's usually what happens. When you go back to your car, you're going to get shot. Oh, no. He went into the barracks phone, fucking picked up the phone, called up, and the next thing you know, fucking, this was before cell phones, obviously, and there was a squad leader showing up. Roll left, roll right, flutter kicks, push-ups, green light goes, and also the shit, ready, stop goes. And, so I fucking deserved it. That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Was I well within my right to get my ass kicked? Fuck yeah, because I'd beat the fuck out of somebody who scraped my fucking boots with a rock.
I would have fucked someone up.
I would have fucked somebody up because you sit there. Everybody knows on Sunday mornings, afternoons, in the barracks. What do you do on a stoop? You fucking shine boots.
Now everyone was doing that shit.
Everyone was shine boots, and we'd be on the stoop when we were shooting the shit.
Pressing your uniform. Too,
yeah,
man.
Pressing your uniform. Everyone would be doing getting the barracks, but it was implied. In other words, it was going to happen. Everybody knew that first sergeant and your platoon sergeant were going to be rolling through the barracks after PT, after you go to work. So like when you're hauling ass and you're cleaned up and everything's good to go, and then you go to fucking work after you've shit showered and shaved after PT, your first sergeant and your platoon sergeant are going to be walking through the barracks. So everybody knows it was implied. It was those implied tasks. See, that's what you were talking about, the social disconnect. Those implied tasks aren't taught anymore. Those implied tasks are not. There is no initiative. I'm not saying our Joes don't have initiative. I just think that there's the self-initiative is not emphasized in certain areas. Why? Because we have people that are contracted to fucking mow the lawn. We have people that are contracted to mow the fuck to do some of the stuff in the barracks. Well, some posts don't even have anybody doing this shit. Even when the soldiers are actually doing more work in the fucking barracks to keep them standing than the goddamn DPW. So you bring up no serious. Yeah. So you
been there, done that.
Yeah. So think about this. You can't. You cannot. You can't have it one. It's a cycle, and if that cycle has a piece of the cog missing, don't get mad when it's not happening the way you want it. If you're removing specific traditions from being an NCO and being a non-commissioned officer, because right now, being a non-commissioned officer means that you go through MLC, you go through SLC, you go through ALC, you go through BLC, and then you go to NOCLOC, the Non-Commissioned Officer Center of Excellence at the Sergeant Major's Academy, and you are all taught the same fucking thing on fucking lessons that go back from 2000 to 2009. So what happens then? Yeah. You have lost that. So the initiative of the entitlement army is still there. You're going to get this because you need to get that. Does my wartime award equate to your wartime award is what somebody asked me one time. And it sucks when you get your award and then almost 20 years later somebody gets the same award, but they didn't do what that award was accorded to. If that makes any sense.
That's a good point that you should do. That you should say that. I just stepped on somebody. I apologize.
No, you're good. You go ahead.
I want to go ahead and finish your statement.
Go ahead, Pooks. What were you saying?
No, so what you're saying is like NCO development now is just a rinse repeat process at that point.
It is rinse repeat, and it's something that it's not. It's not taught specifically. Like, for instance, I, as a master sergeant or a sergeant first class in my line of work, I'm never going to work with with somebody who's assigned to a chemical unit or a logistical unit or a transportation unit or aviation unit or MI unit or infantry unit or armor, artillery. We all have different fields, so I can't walk in there as a whatever to go do in another company for whatever. Leadership should be universal at the point of being a first sergeant, because being a first sergeant at that point, you're not doing tasks, you're not doing collective tasks. You're the admin.
You're
bitch.
drinking coffee, pointing your finger around, and telling people what to fucking do at that point.
Well, yeah,
That was honest to God truth.
Well, you're literally there supervising. You're supervising your senior NCOs undergoing their evaluations with their collective tasks, doing their subtasks with their troops, so to support the unit's medal is what you're doing. So
yeah, your platoon sergeant should be filling you in what's going on.
Bingo,
but
exactly.
Those are the motherfuckers that should be doing the jobs then at that point.
Exactly. So my point being is that there has to be something added. Everyone gets mad at me when I was a first sergeant when I said I have no issue with white space, and everyone flipped the fuck out. I had a command that believed that if the calendar didn't have a day filled with activities, then there was something wrong with me and my commander. That if if there was 2-3 days of unit operations or whatever, or I would just say unit operations on the training schedule, or fucking I would say first sergeant time. What is first sergeant time? Come down and you'll see what it is. Because
it should be in my opinion, that should be the platoon sergeants dealing with their Joes at that point.
Bingo. Well, I mean, like, everyone knows that you have motor pool Mondays, and so every TTP would be different. So, or I would say I would have a emphasis on maintenance being done all the time. It doesn't have to be just motor pool Mondays. I don't know. I would just change it up to the point where everyone says, well, we just are too busy. We're too busy. Our op tempo is fucking big. Whoa. Let me look at that signature block. Lieutenant Colonel commanding. That's you. You're the one that put that op tempo on us.
Or sergeant's time would roll around and the sergeants couldn't take control of their Joes for like more than 5 minutes without some bullshit coming down. Like a ruck march or some shit. Just saying.
Well, and if you look what happened today at All American Week, I keep bringing it back, All American Week. They ruck and they jump to get to work. They're not doing it because it's a requirement. They are using that as part of their movement. That's part of the troop leading procedures. Initiate movement, right? Well, that's part of it. And then when you get to the objective, that's when you do the objective up until the LOA. So I don't see how you could say that the traditions of the soldiers, and I'm just of course just speaking rhetorically and being all snooty and shit. But I don't see how you could say that the Army needs to undergo change when you were the one that fucking changed it, and you just need to go back to the basics. Think about it. 3 courses were just taken offline. 3 courses.
Which one were those?
It was trips, and then it was counter trafficking in persons, and then some other fucking safety things that obviously. Now look, there are some things that you just can't go without having formalized training that you have to do online. I'm sorry, I'm the kind of guy I'm old school. We were taught by 3 methods, right? Step by step, and by the numbers. So I'm gonna know. I want to know by the numbers and step by step because I'm an idiot. And I want to know. So you're showing me the result, and you're showing me this. Jump Master School is the same way. Perfect example. It is a step-by-step and by-the-numbers method of instruction and inspection. So it happens that way. So when you have a Joe that wants to know how to do something, and all you're doing is laughing at that fucking soldier because they've got their magazine put in upside down or wrong, if you are the sergeant and that is your soldier, that is your fucking fault.
Yeah.
Because you didn't sit down and talk to your soldier, and don't go blaming the fucking drill sergeants, because once they leave the drill sergeants, they go to you. You hold that magazine up and you do those fucking blind magazine drills. You do the broken arm drills of changing mags or whatever. You do egress from fucking vehicles when you got a casualty down, or you do dead driver drills, or you do something to that effect to where you're teaching those soldiers. That's
roll
basic.
Roll over.
Yeah, and it's basic stuff. I mean, you know the deal, Poogs. I mean, come on. You sat there and you freaking did. Why did you do magazine changes at all times when it became muscle memory? So you didn't look like that. So that way you didn't look like that Joe on the main page that has his magazine or her magazine upside down. You're failing as a fucking sergeant.
I really wish the main page was a thing when I was in, because of an old hoopla.
Yeah.
I am so glad the main page wasn't fucking around when I was a Joe.
Yeah, and look, guys, hey man, totally, you are totally entitled to get up on that podium, and everything you said, I have no distraction, I have no argument with whatsoever. But when it comes to some of the more softer and maybe a little bit more, I say softer, don't get keyed up. I don't mean softer as in like, hey, we're going to do softer approach. But when it comes to some of the more soft skills within the military, okay? This is how you interact with your NCOs.
Correct. No, and I'm
how
glad
you interact with your team members.
Correct. Now I'm glad you brought that up, Stank, because to me,
I'm sorry to cut you off. How many soldiers do you think are scared to interact with their NCOs?
Oh, I would say depending on
this generation.
Yeah, in this
not many.
This new generation, they're scared. They're scared to interact with.
They're scared. You have two extremes.
That.
No, you have two extremes.
I'm sorry, I just refuse to believe that.
No, you have two extremes. No, you have two extremes.
Offense.
No, you have two extremes right now of type of soldier that you have that interact with their NCOs. You have the ones that are scared shitless, like Pookie said, that just will fucking do anything because they don't want to fucking put whatever. And then you have the most disrespectful. Oh, I mean, I've seen both. As a first sergeant, I've seen both. I don't want to say scared, but you have the ones that are just fucking, hey, private, run for sergeant. You see that tree? Yes, for sergeant. Go chew on that tree. Rah, blah, blah. And he's over there chewing on the fucking tree and he's bleeding and shit, and he won't ask. And then there's another Joe that's a private, go chew on that tree. Why do I got to chew on that tree? How come you not? I got one chew on the tree. You know what I mean? That immediate, that immediate fucking angry feedback that I would get, bro. Lose my shit because of English is my second language. I don't even know what the word is. Losing my shit higher than that. What is higher than losing your shit? I don't know. Somebody said apoplectic. Or
Los Locos.
Yeah, exactly.
Apoplectic.
Yeah, exactly. Specfo Mafia, Specfo. Yeah. Dos Locos nuts. I would go crazy. I would be like, I can't believe you had and I would say that. I said, I can't believe you just had the fucking balls to tell a first sergeant this. Maybe you be a first sergeant. Oh, now you're talking about my 20 some odd years of experience and my multiple deployments. Let's go.
But that's the point. That's the point that I was actually trying to talk to earlier.
Oh yeah. And what's that?
That was the point that you mentioned it about 5 minutes ago. You said you get these awards 20 years ago, somebody else 20 years later is going to get the same award. That's not how this shit works anymore.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, during the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and even into the 80s, there was an order within the military which was like, hey, you know what? I'm not happy in this fucking shitty-ass position where I'm getting shrieked at, I'm getting shouted at, I'm doing bullshit, I'm fucking doing line drills, I'm getting punished with the rest of my fucking battalion. But you know what? Eventually, at some point, I'm going to rise to the top, not like a turd in a septic tank, but a decent turd. And then, I'm going to make my way through the rank, and I'm going to be treated similarly and respected similarly by my subordinates. And at the same time, I'm going to be given the same carte blanche from my higher management, my cadre, my officer corps, to do what I need to do to make sure the mission retains. That changed, dude.
I know, bro. I know it changed. But see, like I said, because I was mentored in my specific timeline, I've never lost it. I literally had sergeant majors, and when I was a platoon sergeant, first sergeants, tell me that I was fucked up because a soldier got a DUI, and I was like, wait a minute, first off, I don't go to bed with my fucking in other words, I don't do bed checks on my soldiers. They're grown adults. As soon as they have raised their right hand and have graduated basic training in AIT and they've gotten to me, and they are now my responsibility, I have full confidence that these individuals are going to pick up a weapon and squeeze the trigger and lay down the scunion for their teammates and their countries or whatever deity they believe in and lay it out. I don't have time to treat them with kid gloves. They're not going to get treated with kid gloves. So when I get told it's your responsibility, you can't teach responsibility if you're taking it up for them like that. You can't.
Well, yeah, and if you're enabling them, ultimately at the end of the day, and and so it is a delicate balance. Yes, you as a leader, somehow or another, you should have this messianic power to compel them to do right. Stay on the good path. That's what our higher echelon, who are more concerned with what the JAG has to say. Well, if you take this female up on charges, then you're going to get a lot of feedback. IG's probably going to come down, and you go ahead and kiss an 06 promotion away. And then there's the other aspect, which is like, this person is of this demographic, this person is of that demographic, and I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to get all scandalous here. I'm just saying that there's a whole shit ton of dynamics that are in play now that didn't exist in the 80s and 90s. And I know guys, so younger guys, my apologies, 80s and 90s, ancient history. But the truth and the reality was there was a chunk of 30 to almost 40 years within the military where the pattern repeated itself, where there was those who were like, yeah, this shit ain't for me, and they got out after the first term. The other ones who were like, you know what, I'm going to hang in there, I'm going to be a career soldier. And they earned the accolades and the same respect that they gave to their senior NCOs and their staff NCOs was also returned to them. That shit stopped in the fucking mid-90s. It went away. It evaporated. So all the guys who were coming up through the ranks, who were doing, hey, this is what I did, what my predecessors did. Now it's just like, oh, wait. Now I'm responsible because my soldier decided he wanted to go home and smoke meth and then beat his fucking wife, and I'm a poor leader for that?
Wrong answer, bro.
What imbeciles are we recruiting? What kind of imbeciles are we recruiting?
Well, see, that's the thing. We as NCOs that have never had to deal with a super waiver army. That was the problem.
Super wavered army, exactly. Nice term.
No, I'm serious. Our leadership issues are because we have been so super wavered on everything. We have kids that are bids that are in the main page that were found in a goddamn wheat fucking thresher because they had Asperger's and he was fucking going nuts and didn't take no fucking meds that he was required to fucking take. Now, you want to talk about being non-deployable. Are you going to have individuals who are taking medication for the shit that you wavered them on? You wavered them in, Army. It's your job.
Shit.
It's your job. It is your job at that point, Army, to take the responsibility to ensure that these kids, because like I said, you're right. We saw a lot of this. I mean, you're right. You're staying. I 100% agree with you. Is that it all went away because all of a sudden everything was waiverable. Everything was because their peers, they see it. Why is First Sergeant Ice spending all this time on this guy, but I have no issues with my PT tests. I have no issues with my qualifications. I was the Brigade Soldier of the Year. I was the NCO. My NCOs is I'm Sergeant Artie Murphy. I'm Sergeant Morales, and I just won the Soldier of the Year for the post. But First Sergeant Ice is taking his time off of my accolade, like you said, your accolades, and focusing on fucking. And I'm not again disparaging anybody with behavioral health issues, but they shouldn't be in. Because I'm dealing with somebody who has Asperger's or somebody with severe mental issues that was wavered in, and I have to focus my time. It's taking my time away from that troop. I'm sorry, man. You shouldn't have come in. Nothing against you as a person. You should not have come in. I can't get the ass
and
about
not only
that.
that, too, they also filtered them out. They also managed to filter them out during fucking basic and during fucking AIT, those individuals who refused to conform. Even if they didn't have Asperger's, or some inconsequential mental disability that prevented them from performing the work. They just had an abject disrespect for authority. In other words, don't tell me what to fucking do. And there are people like that, and that's fine. They have a place in society, I'm almost certain, okay? But in the military, where everybody has to kind of work as one cohesive component, you run into some issues. I am certainly not, avoiding or not wanting to be inclined to hear some opposing viewpoints.
Abstaining.
I will take any You know, and somebody tells me, hey, Sergeant, you know, I have an idea. Let me hear it, dude. Because, you know, the one I have in my head right now doesn't sound all that great. Let me hear what you got to say. You know, I'm down with it. You know, I am totally down with it. You know, it's not, oh, you're just being a smart ass. But then I've also heard some stupid ass shit too. Hey, Sergeant, I got an idea. You know, instead of putting all that shit together so we can meet fucking the mission by tomorrow afternoon, what do you say we wait 3 more days to do it? Because then we'll be really good. No specials. That's not going to work because we got to fucking deliver tomorrow by noon.
Well, it was that,
You know,
it was that mentality of that pushed leadership down to why those 9 soldiers got killed at Fort Hood. That fucking, remember those soldiers that went through the rapid water area that they shouldn't have gone through, and
yeah, basically over one of the fucking submerged roads there on the fucking ranges.
Correct.
I've been on a fucking 100 times.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And straight up fucking, they said that there was no, there was no way they could do it, but because of this pressure that the individual was going through, and didn't have the stones to tell his leadership, I'm not going through that. 9 people were killed. 9 people were killed. So
what happened to the Army, man?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was the responsibility of that to where, look, there are other career fields that are also being affected the same way too. Hey, I'm sorry, the Army back in the day, here's what you couldn't be when you first joined the Army, back when me and Stank joined the Army. A, you had to be a high school graduate. B, if you weren't a high school graduate, you had to have had a good ASVAB, or they only allowed certain amount of individuals with GEDs, or you had to have had at least an associate's degree, which I don't know how you get an associate's degree without a high school diploma, but anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but go figure. Yeah, I don't know how that worked out. But if you had an associate's degree, you didn't have to provide you didn't have to have a high school. That was just the start. That was step 1. The second step was your physical, because back in the day where I was from, you had physical fitness tests for PE. Yes. They gave you out west. They gave you a physical physical agility or something like that to see whatever for their numbers or whatever. So when that fucking happened, you had to take PT tests. You like to see how many pull-ups you did. Blah blah blah. They got those scores from your school. And it says right here, you only do this, and this. Because, you know, obviously, you have, if you had anything that said, well, could not do proper push-up because of shoulder injury, then that's when you had to go through and say, why did you have the shoulder injury? Well, I was doing this and I hurt myself, blah, 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 blah. I don't, do you have any pain? Ask for it. And you guys ask the question. No? Okay, cool.
And they didn't, and by the way, they didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to adjudicate your case.
No. They just sat there and they did the questionnaire and said, ask you real quick. And also, that's when they would do the physical stuff. They would do the, okay, touch your hands, touch your hair, and they hear a pop on. So I remember when I was going through MEPS, there was a guy who was doing doing one of those things, and he, you did your hands raise up, clap up, and then you put it down your back to double arm interval, and then you touched your nose. If there was a dude that popped, like his shoulder popped, the doc stopped him and said, "What happened to your shoulder? Step back over here. The rest of you 5 continue. Now I want you to do this." And then he's sitting there talking to the kid, and the kid's like, "I hurt myself." And he's like, "Do this range of motion again." "Okay, cool, thank you. Go to the next station." There was no question or whatever. They would make him go through the whole physical process, and then there would be a MEPS counselor right there to tell them, "Congratulations, you're not 4F," which was Captain America. You know what I mean? You're 4F. You couldn't come in. So that was another step, your physicality of it. Then they went into your psych. The pictures of a fucking colorblind test still stand back in the day. Now we got people that are colorblind. We got people that are colorblind in the Army, or have been in the Army while they're when I came in, you couldn't be colorblind.
I'm colorblind. I was in the Army. So
No. What I'm saying though is that
no.
That was a
colorblind too.
No, that was a discriminator.
They were happy to tell me. They were happy to tell me which MOSs I was ineligible.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That was going to be my next thing. If you cannot be in that eligible MOS, there is a certain fraction of whatever type of color blindness you could be before they said no, you just can't even come in. So that's what I was gonna continue with. And now then it came the interview. Then you had the interview. Do you wet the bed? Do you snore? Do you sleepwalk? Do you, what was the other one? Do you have any there's a, did you
massively masturbate.
Yeah. Do you have,
No.
did you have,
No.
do you have any, are you scared of confined spaces?
No.
Blah, 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 blah. Do you have any of that shit going on? So if you said no, right? Well, once you went to can you duck walk? Once you went to basic training and you took all your records to you, if any of that stuff was done, that's what assisted in chaptering you the fuck out. That's what assisted you on. See ya. You're done.
All of a sudden you start sleepwalking. Oh, you said no to that shit.
Exactly. Oh, you get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Oh man, we had fucking sleepwalkers, sleep talkers, snorers, fucking crybabies, piss
Jesus
babies.
Christ! You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll take a fucking whole squad bay full of fucking methamphetamine addicts as opposed to fucking 2 fucking sleepwalkers.
Oh my god, that's scary as fuck. You always hear about stuff like that. You would think,
holy shit.
You know what I mean? You're like, fuck, that's scary as fuck, man. I was doing Fire Girl one time in basic training, and a sleepwalker. Well, I mean, oh man, it was like it was like it was like scary. It's like paranormal activity shit. It scared the fuck out of me.
Who was in the fucking rack next to me? He got up out of his fucking rack and decided to get out of his bed and walk straight across instead of go to Main Street. He just decided he was just going to get up out of bed and start walking. He hit my bed, and then he said, "Oh, let me just step over this." Next thing I know, I'm waking up. I got a motherfucker standing on my legs trying to climb over my bed, and I took him down to Main Street. The whole fucking bay woke up. It was fucking pandemonium, dude. It was insane. They're like intruders. I had guys jumping on me. I had guys jumping on him. It was crazy. Anyway, carry on.
So I'm pretty sure there's some recruiters that are listening right now, because we always do. And oh yeah, we know there's some recruiters, some shady ass fucking recruiters that hide shit just to get that number.
Fucking shady motherfuckers, exactly.
So, yeah, exactly. Katie, see exactly that. Local recruiter called you to join. Wow. Because his brother
All right,
realized.
my friend.
So, anyways, all right, Stank. Well,
look, man, I'm gonna let you have your show. It's always awesome to talk to you, Mr. Ice. Excuse me, First Sergeant Ice. What? It's Ice. Whenever you're gonna retire, one day. I fucking retired already. One day you can join the ranks of the luxurious.
Don't worry.
But anyway, always good talking to you.
all right, brother. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. See you guys later.
Yep.
Ciao.
Yep. Have a good one. And yep. So we got Stang.
You got Stang.
You got Stang. So, anywho, we got some house cleaning to do because it's already freaking that time. Because I was like,
oh shit.
Yeah.
This is about that. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. It was like freaking. It's time to rock and roll. Okay, so we got a show every night. You all know that. 20 to 2300. Except for Wednesdays. Wednesdays we also have WTF Nation Gaming. Hey, congrats on WTF Nation Gaming. They hit 500 likes.
Yes, we did.
That's awesome. So congrats to our sister page, WTF Nation Gaming. Check them out. Actually, their streams, your guys' streams are awesome. Pooks is on the WTF Nation team. And,
yeah, go over there and check us out. Please send us a like.
Yeah, man.
Love y'all.
No, because you guys like your streams, your video game streams, dude, you guys are rocking no less than 3,000. You guys are up there. You guys go from 3 to 5. I've seen like 6,000 freaking views on there. That is rocking, man. Now, do you guys mostly play primarily on PC games, or do you guys play on Xbox?
We're working this mostly PC, but we're going into the console systems. So pay attention. Watch out.
So you're going to the console systems? Okay, so are you going to have are you going to have to are you going to like put a notice out that, hey, look, now you want to play on Xbox or something like that? You there? Hello? Pooks, you there? Oh, they're streaming now. Oh, okay.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, dude, what happened?
I fat fingered my mute.
Oh. No worries, man. No worries. No, I was gonna say, are you gonna is that gonna be soon? Or are you guys gonna put? Or are you guys just gonna put that out and be on the lookout for it?
just pay attention.
All right, that'll work.
Come to our page, look at it, and, you know,
All right.
like I'm working some retro stuff.
Okay.
In the background.
Word. No problem. Word. Okay. Word. No problem.
I got you.
I got you. All right. So anyway, so congrats again to WTF Nation Gaming for getting their 500th like. Also, check out every show that we have tonight. Sergeant's Time with me, and I've had multiple gunners in the turret today. Also tomorrow we have a Friday Night Freedom with Minx and the Pooks, and then Saturday Night Savagery with J Rady and the Pooks, and then kicking it with Cause. Yeah, I know, man, dude. You pull some massive duty. We got kicking it with Cause on Sunday. That's like where the old guys hang out. Al and Cause sit there, and those guys are doing good for Sunday too. I hear them, and I wanna just like sit there with a glass of brandy and a cigar and just listen to those guys talking. But anyways, so and then we have the Monday edition with myself and Flash, and then Tuesdays Tied Up Tuesday with Minx and Grey Cloud. So our guests that are coming up, we have on 1 June, which is a Friday, we have OPSEC Monkey. He is going to give Nation updates on all the technologically advanced security, OPSEC tips, crypto news, 360-degree.
That's my man.
Okay, an OPSEC Monkey is part of the WTF Cyber Division. So he was the individual that assisted us in providing us with Dan Bilzerian's information.
That's why I love it when he comes on the show. I've been waiting so long.
Yeah. So he's going to come on and talk about. He was the one that actually assisted in blasting everybody's information to make sure that, hey, look, Twitter's about ready to have a fucking change your Twitter shit now. And then the next day, Twitter said, change your shit now. So OPSEC Monkey's on it. So go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I said yeah. I pay attention to the same shit he does. But
Yeah. So he's anytime the OPSEC Monkey says something, take heed. He's not those guys that want to scare you to say, yeah, you better change your password 5 times. So anyways, so Friday, 8 June, we'll see from the Veterans of Comedy. Veterans of Comedy is a group of military veterans and veteran comedians who have chosen to represent and support talented veterans who desire to share their gifts to the world. So they're going to come on and shoot the shit. He is a volunteer. He's a veteran of the Air Force. Wow. Of the Air Force, the Marines, and the Army Reserve. He's originally from KC-Mo and makes his home in Los Angeles, and has been seen on Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, Storage Hunters, and Blockbusters, Hail Caesar, and Gone Girl. Will has been heard on XM Sirius, The Bob and Tom Show, National Lampoon Radio, and All Comedy Radio. I can't wait for that show. It's gonna be a fun show. And then we have, the following day we have Chris White and Bobby Henline, who's been on before. If you guys don't, okay, look, we're gonna Bobby Henline was wounded in combat, and he is burnt. But his jokes throw you off guard because he jokes about being burnt.
His jokes are on fire.
His jokes are on fire, exactly. Straight fire. He spits fire. So he's been on here before, and he shot the shit. And I'll pull up another video. I'll get one of his old videos up that were just fucking savage as shit. But I don't even know if you can publish the videos that we have on him right now because Facebook has gotten so stupid. So Chris White and Bobby Henline from Freedom Hard. Freedom Hard Incorporated was founded in 2017. Veteran owned and veteran operated based out of Texas. Their mission was to use humor as a platform to display patriotism, as their tagline is, if it's not your freedom, it's not if you freedom, but how hard. And how hard. Their vision is a never-ending ripple of positivity and patriotism. America. When people see our brand, it triggers positive thoughts in their mind, a smile on their face, and pride in their heart. Freedom Hard. It's a unique brand.
And hardness.
Hardness. Can you feel that hard freedom? Man. What is that? It's freedom. 12 June Tuesday is going to be Joanna Mendoza. USMC Navy veteran Joanna Mendoza is now currently an author, advocate, and speaker. She's enlisted in the Navy when she graduated from high school on a one-term enlistment, and then in 1999 she joined the Corps. And she became a drill sergeant in the a drill instructor, because I'm sorry, I don't want to fucking you'll get the ass. And she yeah, dude, don't call a DI a drill sergeant, because they will lose their shit. She also served as at Marine Officer Candidate School in Quantico, Virginia, as a sergeant instructor, transforming women into Marine officers. She's badass. She is badass. I'm sorry, I just yeah. When you see her come on, you know, I can't wait to have her on. She is harder than woodpecker lips. She's badass. So don't forget our partners. We have War Horses for Veterans, of course. That is one of our big partners. Our sister station, we have KHB Radio with Jim Cannon and the Veterans Report. Both great organizations. Check out the tags that you see on this post right here. You see War Horse for Veteran and the Veterans Report, and you'll be able to get all your information from there. Go to warhorsesforveterans.com or the link right there on War Horses for Veteran Foundation on the Facebook page, and you'll be able to see what they got in store. You got the Warhorse games coming up. You got a lot of the stuff. They got an indoor arena that's about ready to come out. It's about ready to open up. Can't wait. Can't wait to go back to Kansas. It's been a while since I've been to Kansas. And I can't wait to hang out and chill. You gonna go?
Oh shit! This time around, I'm going, man.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was about to say because I think I'm gonna try to hit this one again. I'm gonna try. We're gonna be. You never know what you're gonna find out. So we might be. WTF Nation Radio might be broadcasting from Kansas. Woo! Can't wait. So there's woo woo. So hey, like I said about 2018, it's not over yet. We got more stuff coming out. I can't wait. Oh man, Joe, don't be sad when the show ends. You know, you can't be sad when the show ends, because all you got to do is go to WTFNationRadio.com and grab a podcast where you can hear our voices every night, anytime you want, on your iTunes app, or you can go ahead on the Google Play, which are Android thingy, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've gone to fucking Apple, so I know I was a diehard Android fan because I had.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just one of those things that I had to do it. I just had to do it. But again, don't forget, show every night, 20 to 2300, gaming on Wednesdays. Webisodes are getting built, so that way we can start doing webisodes on Wednesdays as well. So we have so much crap on the plate that I think I'm gonna have to like take leave to do more shit, more work or something, because there's a lot of stuff that the plate's starting to get full. My whiteboard on the wall is starting to fill up with a bunch of tasks that need to fucking happen. So
delegate.
Well, I mean, some of the stuff I can't really delegate just yet. But don't worry. We love you guys for joining us every night, and thank you guys for coming on. Don't forget to follow us, share, like, follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, like we're watching right now. All the streams are running great. If you have an Xbox and you want to check us out, if you don't want to feel like going up to a laptop and you want to hear us through your sound system on your TV and hear my booming voice, then you can go ahead and go to Mixer, go to WTF Nation Radio, and then you'll see web show, and then bam, that's it. You can listen to us. Sometimes we'll play a movie. Like I said, me, you ain't gonna see my face. There's a price out on my head for my face, so you ain't gonna see it. But don't worry. In the future, you may see things with me in it, and you may not know it's me. But I'll just be like, it'll be that guy who's like a bystander. Who's that guy? Is he photobombing? No, that's eyes. Really? You know what I mean? It'll be like that. So you never know. So again, check out all the platforms. Am I missing something? Am I missing? Am I missing anything? No, I'm not missing anything. So again, there you go. I'm about to say. So again, thank you so much again, 82nd Airborne, for throwing us those shout outs during your event today. Hey, honored. That's some good shit.
Oh yeah.
That is awesome. Now, I mean, he did it like it's like 3 times he did it, right?
3 or 4 times.
Yeah, exactly. That's I counted it. I was too busy watching that shit.
Yeah, I'm a 4ID guy, but I love 82nd now because it was, I'm from whatever.
Well, I'm a 4ID. Yeah, I'm a 4ID guy because my dad went with them in Vietnam. So
there you go.
So yeah, that's why I'm a 4ID guy. So anyways, y'all, thank you. Hey, thanks Pook for joining us. Thanks Spurs for joining me as well. Appreciate it. So y'all have a good night, and yeah, I just might play some extra stuff off the Facebook Live. See what happens.
Do it.
So, shots.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
It's a hell of a thing, killing a man. You take away all he's got, and all he's ever gonna have.
There ain't no grave can hold my body down. There ain't no grave can hold my body down. When I hear that trumpet sound, I'm gonna rise right out of the ground. Ain't no grave can hold my body down.
You feel me coming, and nigga presence is heavy. You play around with my money, the repercussions be deadly. You talk about wanting beef, well I bring you a fucking deli. Grab it, send me, put it up to your mouth, I'm Machiavelli. Shit, niggas running around talking like Machiavelli. Well he died of gunshot wounds, and I don't think they ready. Rock bandanas, thug life on their belly, then they get caught slipping with a chick up at the telly. Shit, where I'm from, niggas eager to get it on. For the right price, your own cousin to do you harm. Hit your ass up, leave you laid out and be gone. Then go to your funeral and be hugging on your mom. Still the same, my nigga, ain't nothing different. Niggas still hating and still snitching. And they still dying over them bitches. Still wishing I fell, keep wishing. I'm on a mission to get it, I'm talking cash. No pun intended, you intervene, that's your ass. You can't kill me, I died when Sunny passed. Rise up like them niggas and Thriller from out the grass. Take a pull of the purple and then I pass. They tell me stop drinking and driving, I'm bound to crash. 2 AKs, banana clips, do the math. Spill enough blood for somebody to take a bath. Spaz, whenever I'm on that brown. We could do this like the Wild Wild West, meet at your town. High noon seals the quickest to shoot around. The loser be the nigga that's laying dead on the ground. You be the cop, I'm the robber. Really thinking you harder? Prove it. Russian roulette, 2 shells in the revolver. Going first ain't a problem. Actually, I be honored. Line them up like a barber. Never back down from drama. Put that shit on my mama. I ain't fucking around. Ain't no grave that could hold me down, Mike.
You're the only friend I got.
Hold me down, Mike.
Who's the fella owns this shit? I own this establishment.
There ain't no grave can hold my body down.
Buster, you were a cowardly son of a
There
bitch.
ain't no grave
You just shot an unarmed
can
man.
hold my body down.
He should have harmed himself.
When I hear that trumpet sound, I'm gonna rise right out of the ground. Ain't no grave can hold my body down.
Darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping lifted scenes while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, in narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, and my eyes were staring by the flash of a neon light. and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. In the sign flashed out his warning, and the words that it was forming. In the sign said the words of the prophets all written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sky.
Reminds me of that fucking meme that was like, I don't text and drive because I don't want my mama to find my last text message about grinding down on that dick.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
The voice of U.S. Army WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.